Consistency is the word of the day in Houston as the Astros search for answers at the plate and in the field. Jason Castro is doing it with the bat and the glove. Can the Stros follow his lead? Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Comcast Sportsnet Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Today it's the finale of the homestand. The Astros take on the first place Oakland A's. Good afternoon, everybody. Bill Brown, Jeff Blum, Alan Ashby. The Astros trying to snap their four-game losing streak and looking for a nice, consistent getaway game effort. Jeff?
Yeah, that's what we need, is some consistency. We've seen some good, we've seen some bad, but right now we got to figure out how to get more of that good in the game. And right here early on in the season, we had Rick Ankiel lead off the season with a 3-run jack to put us ahead and win that ball game. And Marwin Gonzalez, Jose Altuve have done a wonderful job at the plate being consistent contributors in that lineup. But on the flip side, we've got guys who are going to face some really good pitching throughout the year and be swinging some pitches. We got to stop chasing pitches out of the zone. What about defense, Ash?
On that defensive side, it's been exactly like you talked about. Some of the really good. Rick Ankiel with a great diving play. Justin Maxwell's been all over the place making terrific plays. But there have been some problems, no question. Chris Carter couldn't come up with an easy fly ball, and a couple of ground balls to shortstop have led to errors that have also led to big innings for the Oakland A's, and in each case, the A's winning first couple of games here in the series.
Coming up next, Bud Norris threw more than 120 pitches last night. Bull Porter has told about his decision, and let's see how the players react in just a moment with Julia Morales.
Minute Maid Park this Sunday afternoon. The Astros looking for a win against the A's, and they're coming off a gutsy performance from their ace late last night. Bud Norris taking the ball and cruising through the first 5 innings, and then we watched as his pitch count started to climb. Bo Porter watched as well, letting him grow right in front of our eyes. Now, after 122 pitches and giving up the tying run, Bud's night would be done, but his growth didn't go unnoticed.
He did everything we asked him to do, and I went out to the mound and I told him, I said, you've earned the right to win this game, and I'm going to give you every opportunity to do it. And he got to the back of the mound, rubbed the ball up, and pitched his heart out.
Bud's teammates love that Bo let him out there, let him battle, and they really like that from their manager, allowing everyone to kind of grow together. All right, coming up, the first pitch is after the break. Astros and A's. We'll talk more about the guy on the bump tonight for Houston, Lucas Harrell, looking for his first win of the season.
Houston Astros baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Hell to pay. You threw up for some play. You know it went that way. But now you sing another song. Supergirl, you say you're so forsaken. You wanna see me crying of a vows you were breaking all along. And now you're gone. And it ain't no bad thing. You better ride by now. It's just a
On this gorgeous Sunday afternoon, it is the finale. The Astros will be heading out on a 10-day, 9-game road trip. After this one, they'd love to get a win, which would be their second of the season. Should make that trip to Seattle go a whole lot better. And they have Lucas Harrell on the mound warming up right now as the umpires are gathered around home plate, collecting those lineup cards. And let's take a look at Bob Melvin's Oakland A's starting lineup card today. And he's going with a little different twist with the DH who's leading off. There's Mike Everett, the home plate umpire, Marty Foster, Scott Berry, Tim Welke on this umpiring crew. Coco Crisp is so hot that they don't want to rest him, so he's the DH today and the leadoff man, hitting .308 for the season. It's John Jaso at catcher, Josh Reddick in right field, Jed Lowry at shortstop. The cleanup man today, followed by Brandon Moss at first base, Chris Young in center field, Seth Smith in left, Josh Donaldson at third base, and Eric Sogard is the second baseman.
Lucas Harrell takes to the mound for the Astros this afternoon. His second start on the year, and that first one was very good. 6 quality innings, allowing just the 1 run, and yet taking a loss. Not much justice when you pitch that well and take an L, but Lucas Harrell, along with the other starters, doing a great job for the Astros.
Coco Crisp has really had some good swings. Jeff Plum, 2 homers in 2 games. That's some pop from the leadoff man.
Definitely DH numbers. So kind of fitting that he's going to be the DH. Just odd being in that leadoff spot.
He's showing bunt. And there's ball 1 to Crisp. He's on a 4-game hitting streak. That was his 9th career leadoff homer Friday night as he got things going. Hit another one last night. And now he's homered in back-to-back games for the first time since he hit in 3 straight in June of 2008. That makes it 1-1. Lucas Harrell works quickly, throws a lot of strikes.
Yeah, you can see by Coco right there. I don't think he was entirely ready for that second pitch to come through. But a good pace on a getaway day.
Yes, it is. Right there's another pitch on its way. Hitters really got to be ready.
As a defensive player, you've got to love playing behind Lucas Harrell. This is a great pace.
He made his major league debut against Oakland and won that game in 2010. Drops down on that one, gets the foul ball. And he went 6 innings in that game, giving up 1 run to beat the Oakland A's, and he was matched with today's Oakland starter, Brett Anderson, on that occasion. In the dirt for ball 2. Carlos Corporan gets into a nice rhythm with Lucas Harrell, and he's the starting catcher today for the Astros. That's out to left center field. Maxwell headed for it, and on the run, it's by him and rolls for extra bases for Coco Crisp. A double for Crisp. He just continues to rip extra base hits in this series. Homer and double last night. Homer and 2 doubles Friday. This is hit number 6 of the series.
Just one of those slicing drives to the gap in left center field and kept slicing away from Justin Maxwell. He gave it everything he had. That's laying it out. Just simply can't get there.
That was a great effort by Maxwell. Just couldn't catch up to it. Had the right idea, lay out, give it a shot, knowing that JD was going to be there to back him up in that gap.
Crisp likes to steal third base. He did that 14 times last year. John Jaso is the batter. That's ball 1 to Jaso. At 3:33, he's driven in a couple. He had 2 hits and an RBI to go with a walk in Friday night's encounter. Derek Norris did the catching in last night's game. A little pop-up behind third. Matt Dominguez ranging back, and that was a tough play.
Marwin could have bailed him out right there by making the call on that play, but he let Matt Dominguez range behind to make that play.
One of those plays that if this ball drops the way it kept coming back toward the field of play, may have been a fair ball.
And around the field, we got J.D. Martinez picking up for Chris Carter in left field, Justin Maxwell, Brandon Barnes, Matt Dominguez at third, Marwin Gonzalez at shortstop, Jose Altuve at second base, Brett Wallace at first base, and Carlos Corporan will be catching Lucas Harrell today.
One out for Josh Reddick now. Reddick fouls it for strike one. He's driven in 4 runs so far this season, has 1 homer and a 143 batting average for Reddick.
Good idea not to forget about Coco Crisp at second base. We've seen the A's willing to swipe third base here in the series.
They have 3 steals in the series overall in 3 tries. Marwin Gonzalez tries to keep Crisp close. It's 1-1 to the bearded one, Josh Reddick, who is 1 for 8 in this series.
Yeah, the running game will definitely cause the pace of Lucas Harrell to be slowed down a little bit, knowing that he has to pay attention to those guys when they're on the base paths.
And you played a lot of shortstop, Jeff. We see Marwin Gonzalez trying to get in there behind the base runner Crisp and then return backpedaling to his position. That can keep things active for the shortstop in a situation like this.
Yeah, definitely. You got a good hitter up there in Josh Reddick, but it's always that off middle infielder. If it's a left-handed hitter, it's going to be the shortstop. If it's a right-handed hitter, it's going to be the second baseman.
He's going to third. Here's a throw from Corporan and a tag to get him. Crisp is gunned down.
Took a perfect throw to get him. Carlos Corporan puts it right on the money, but there it is. The Oakland A's again willing to lay it on the line and try to pick up third base. Give that shortstop moving away from the runner, and that leaves a chance to go. I'm not so sure he didn't get in safely.
2 hopper to first. Brett Wallace is there, and that will be the first inning. And Lucas Harrell reaches his hand out for a little high five from Corporan, who made that big throw to third base in a scoreless first. I mean, in the top of the first, now the Astros come out with Jose Altuve at second, Justin Maxwell in center, J.D. Martinez in left, Chris Carter the DH, Brett Wallace is at first base, Carlos Corporan the catcher, Matt Dominguez at third, Brandon Barnes in right, Marwin Gonzalez at short, and there is strike one to Altuve, who has hit in all 5 Astros games. Strike there makes it 0-2 from the lefty Brett Anderson, 25 years old, from Midland, Texas. Tough loss for him in the opener to King Felix Hernandez, 2-0. It's 1-2, and he is their opening day guy. And last year he was 4-2, Ash, after returning from Tommy John surgery.
These Oakland A's lost those first couple of games as they hosted Seattle, but then turned around and won the final 2 games of the set.
That sharp breaking ball for a strikeout.
It's take a trip around the field with the Oakland Athletics. Seth Smith is in left field today. Coco Crisp in center. Josh Reddick in right. Josh Donaldson at third base. Jed Lowry at short. Eric Sogard at second base. Brandon Moss at first base. And John Jaso will be receiving and working with Brett Anderson this afternoon.
Now with one out, it's Justin Maxwell. Anderson falling behind 1-0 to Maxwell, a .333 hitter with 2 runs batted in. Anderson was drafted by Arizona in the second round in '06. Sharp hit to the left of Lowry, and Maxwell's aboard with a 1-out single. Oakland traded Dan Herron in the deal for Brett Anderson after the '07 season. As his mother and sister are here today. His father, Frank, who was the head coach at Oklahoma State, is now the pitching coach for the University of Houston. The Cougars are out of town playing a game this weekend, so Father Frank unable to attend. Maybe next trip in. J.D. Martinez bats. Little roller out to second. Sogard with a flip. There's Lowry with time to clear, but he doesn't get the throw there in time. Didn't look like he got a lot on that, and it's only 1 out. Ball slowly hit.
Didn't look like the A's were really in a rush, maybe unaware of the speed of J.D. Martinez going down the line. That double play with the ground ball on the right side, always the more difficult of the double play options. But quite a clear out there by the shortstop.
He did run hard.
That's running right through the bag.
Yeah. That gives Chris Carter a chance to hit. Ball 1 to the DH, the former Oakland A at 0.53 in the early going. Now the Oakland pitching has been very good. In 5 of the 6 starts, their starter has really turned in outstanding work. And in only 1 of those 5 has the starter allowed more than 2 earned runs. That was Bartolo Colon last night, giving up 3 earned runs in 6 innings. 1 ball, 1 strike. Anderson has 25 major league wins against 26 losses. An ERA just above 3.5. 2 balls and a strike. It's a very young starting rotation other than Bartolo Colon. In '09, Brett was 11-11 for the A's. That's his top win total in a major league season so far. It's 2-2. And Blummer, there are those who feel that they need 200 innings out of Anderson this season if they're going to stay right in it again this year.
Well, he's got the label of being their ace, being their opening day starter, so he's got to be the guy that leads the way for them. We don't, Bartolo's age could become an issue later in the season, but as young as these guys are, they definitely put it on Brett's shoulders.
Breaking pitch gets him his 2nd strikeout. It's a scoreless first for Brett Anderson. Forward to Miller time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Sunday afternoon crowd watching the A's and the Astros. The A's will be at home when the Astros visit them on the next road trip, and they will be back here in Houston in May. Harrell survived a leadoff double when Crisp was thrown out trying to steal third. And now it's Jed Lowry leading it off in the second inning on a 5-game hitting streak. 476 for Lowry, a couple of homers, 4 driven in. Lowry's had a big series with 4 hits in 8 at-bats, including a homer last night off Bud Norris. The A's went deep 3 times in that game. That one misses, and it's 1-1. Mike Everett is the home plate umpire.
I thought it was kind of curious that Coco Crisp decided to steal third base in that situation with only 1 out, 3-hole hitter up there, and Josh Reddick being a left-handed hitter is a much easier throw for Corcoran to make that throw to third base.
Put it on the money. I wanted to ask you a question too about the way Matt Dominguez played it. Put his left knee down. I really like that. Is that a technique that you think is good for a third baseman to use?
It's not typical for, or it's part of your code that we talked about a couple days ago. I mean, sometimes if you put that knee down in front of the base, it leads to injury when guys are diving in. And on the other side, it can also lead to a guy coming in feet first and spiking the third baseman. But sometimes when necessary, it's good to get that knee down. Puts the third baseman in a good position to make that tag. So
good point.
Got over there early, gave Corcoran a good target, and was able to plant it on him.
Well off the line here, and there's a liner, and to left field, J.D. Martinez sliding. Good play. Robs Lowry for the first out.
We've seen the defense up and down through the first 5 games for the club, but a couple of nice plays, including the throw out at third base and the play by Dominguez, this diving play in left. J.D. Martinez getting it done.
Those are big plays to lead off innings too. You keep that leadoff guy off the bases to start the inning. It sets up well.
It really does.
Ask Lucas Harrell.
Yeah,
I will.
Brandon Moss 2 for 14. There's ball 1 to him. Maxwell's positioned over in left center on Moss. Leaves a lot of room in right center. It's 1-1.
Early on in the season, the catchers have shown pretty good defensive qualities with Castro with his great blocks. Hasn't been run on too much this year.
Yeah.
And then Corcoran jumping out there and making a good throw at third base.
1-2.
I think Lucas Harrell will cut down on stolen base attempts over the course of the year with how quick he is working to the plate.
Appeal to third. He checked his swing. And the Tim Welke call. It's 2-2. And then Moss hit 21 homers last season in 84 games.
Was right on that borderline, Ash.
Yeah.
And parallel to that front edge of the plate. Got the benefit of the call.
Harrell walked Moss. And he'll be aboard for Chris Young now. Young from Bel Air. The outstanding local products coming from the Arizona Diamondbacks to Oakland. And he played in Arizona for Bob Melvin. You can appreciate the talents of Chris, who's on a 3-game hitting streak, hitting 300 with 1 homer.
Yeah, last year was fun to watch Chris early on in the season. He basically carried the Arizona Diamondbacks for the first 2 weeks until he made an outstanding attempt on a ball in left center field gap. And like you were talking about, Mike Trout in center field running into those walls. Those guys create more opportunities when they've got that speed. And Chris crashed into the wall, strained a muscle in his back, and was on the DL for quite a while and just was not the same player when he came back, and eventually got traded to the Oakland A's.
2 balls, no strikes. He's hitting .408 in his career at Minute Maid Park. 29 for 71 here.
Likes that home cooking.
Yeah. 340 lifetime overall against the Astros for Chris Young. Got jammed on that one, popped it back. And it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Chris was drafted by the White Sox in 01, traded to Arizona in 05 for Javier Vasquez. In the deal taking him to Oakland, that was a trade for Cliff Pennington and a young player. Cliff Pennington had been the shortstop for Oakland A's last year. Did not have a very good offensive season. But he had a game winner the other night for Arizona. Throw over to first base.
Yeah, if you're not going to get a lot of hits, you might as well get some timely ones.
Well, I think you can find some guys at the end of seasons that put up 100 RBI type years that don't hit for a high average and just productive when the opportunity is there.
3 balls and a strike now. Harrell pitching from behind on some of these early hitters. He walked 2 in 6 innings against the Rangers, his first time out. Had 9 ground ball outs of the 18 outs when he was in the game. He started 2 double plays. Whack foul. He is a good fielder, and that plays into being a sinker baller, as he does get a fair number of comebackers.
We've seen that he not only handles the glove well, but he handles footwork and getting rid of the baseball, accurate throws well, set up a couple of double plays for him his first time out.
That would work well right here on his 3rd straight full count of the game. Altuve not too far from the bag, and the throw goes over. Well, that's a big part of it when you're a sinker baller. Holding runners, keeping that double play in order, trying to keep them as close as you can so double play mates can have time to turn it. He's going. And it's ball 4. First and second, 1 out. Lucas was fighting control issues, as many do, making their major league debuts. This was back in 2010.
You get those jitters and start driving that sinking fastball in the dirt. Catchers have a tough time dealing with that. I think Lucas Harrell has set himself up very well now to be a major league quality starter. Great sinker there for the punch out.
Now with 2 men on and 1 out, it is Seth Smith, and Smith has also been rough on the Astros. .333 lifetime, 2 homers including 1 last night, 7 runs batted in. Most of that damage as a member of the Rockies. Smith takes it, and there's ball 1 to him. Smith is from Jackson, Mississippi. 2nd round pick of the Rockies in 2004. Has a career .503 slugging percentage against right-handed pitching. .307 against left-handed pitching. So that'll get you into a platoon situation quite often. He fouls that one, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Changing speed can be a key to getting ground balls. You get the hitters out in front. That last pitch at 81 and looked like that swing was out in front. You get that rollover, creating a ground ball.
Lucas had a good changeup last year on his way to an 11-11 season. He worked 193 innings last year. That's driven to right center field. And that one will go to the wall. It'll score 1 run at least. And now here is Young coming to the plate. Here's the relay. Not in time. It's a 2-run double for Smith. And the A's lead it 2-0.
The hits are always tough, but when they follow a walk or 2, as we've seen here in the inning, a couple of 1-out walks, never a good thing.
It's a 2nd double.
We saw the other day when Bo Porter came out and spoke with Reiner Cruz, the one thing that I read that he did say to him is you can't defend the walk. When you're getting those guys on base, somebody hits a gap, it leads to trouble.
Brandon Barnes plays it back in, and then Altuve with the relay. But Young scored the 2nd run on that hit. Now Doug Brocail has come out, so something may be a little mechanically amiss. For some reason, Lucas is not in the strike zone as often as he'd like to be so far. Bo Porter wanting better results as Josh Donaldson steps up. Donaldson at 143 has driven in 3. Fouls it away. There's strike 1 to Donaldson. Made himself into a good 3rd baseman. He was moved to 3rd last year at the start of spring training. Scott Sizemore went down with a knee injury. Now has a stranglehold on that position. Fouls that one off his leg with Harold dropping down. It's 0-2.
Good grief. It almost looked like he was trying to run away from that while he was swinging.
It did.
That thing was running in on him. So he set up outside, but come that Laredo ball just chased him inside, and he had no other choice but to swing at it, and ended up fouling it off his calf.
I think you start begging for that shin guard to come into play before you even hit it.
Donaldson had the big hit last night, tying the game. 1-2. Bob Melvin said that his at bat was the best of the game in that 6th inning with the single to right field on a 3-2 pitch.
Yeah, that's the one that broke Bud Norris's back in that game.
25th pitch of the inning goes for ball 2, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, you can kind of notice Lucas is trying to work the edges, even on that last hitter against Seth Smith, trying to work that sinker on the outside corner, but Mike Everett is just not wavering off that black right now.
I think if you are a Lucas Harrell, and there are a lot of guys like him around the major leagues that don't have the overpowering stuff on the hill, you have to find a way to work the edges, to work the bottom of the strike zone, maybe occasionally at the top of the strike zone and above. But for Lucas Harrell, struggling with the walks, just having a hard time not only finding the corners but finding the strike zone at times.
Punched up the right field line, foul.
From what I've seen from Donaldson here in the brief series, I'm not sure I'd want to stay away on him. He's got a great opposite field stroke.
True. That guy's glad he does.
It's the souvenir hack.
Bouncer, Altuve to his left. Over to Wallace. 2 outs, Smith to third, and Sogard will bat. We haven't seen Scott Sizemore in this series, but he is in a platoon arrangement with Sogard at second base. Sizemore bats right, and he'll get his share of playing time because there are a good number of left-handed starting pitchers in the American League West. This is Sogard's series, 188 with 1 RBI so far. Sogard made a good diving play in last night's game. He takes a strike. Eric is 2 for 8 with an RBI in this series. He's 26 years old, from Phoenix to Arizona State. He rocks this one on a line. J. Max with the grab. 2-run score on 1 hit with a runner stranded at third, and the A's lead it 2-0 in the second. Cashed in after those 2 walks with the 2-run double by Seth Smith in the top of the frame. Now with Brett Anderson on the mound for the bottom of the second. It's Brett Wallace batting. Wallace takes, and there's strike 1. Wallace at 071 is looking for his first RBI. He has struck out in 11 of his first 14 at bats. It's no balls, 2 strikes. Brett Anderson had an average spring, hurt his neck covering third and missed a start along the way. But on opening night, he opened with 4 strikeouts to begin the game. Pitches from that third base edge of the rubber. He strikes out Wallace.
Well, the confidence cannot be building at all for Brett Wallace. Hard to figure out what goes on when you just get in that mode. You can't make contact at all.
Yeah, when things aren't going good, it doesn't even feel like your own swing. Every time you go to the bat rack, you grab your own bats with your names on them, and it feels like somebody, misprinted and put a different stick in there. But about right now, he needs to pack some Advil, open up a bottle of Advil and fire it into his bat bag and put it on the plane. He needs to start using everybody else's bats, go up there with a pitcher's bat even, just to try and mix things up and try and get out of that funk that he's in.
See if you can find a Chris Davis bat in the rack.
No doubt.
Carlos Corporan, the switch hitting catcher, 0 for 3. Off the hand of Anderson, and that's out into center field with Anderson looking down at his left hand. He tried an ill-advised bare hand play, and Corporan singles. Now Anderson's going to be visited by the manager and the trainer.
Ash, in all your vast knowledge and experience in this game, can you please explain to me why pitchers continually think that putting their bare hand up there is a good idea?
Well, that was well set up, Jeff, but I'm not sure about the rest of it. Yeah, you wonder, what is the reason for the reaction with the bare hand? Yeah, it's on the bare hand side, but it's not like that ball was hit all that sharply. You got some reaction time.
You do have some time, but it just... a hard ball and a bare hand is very often not a good combo.
And not really an athletic looking effort there either.
Well, Brownie, we were touching on it before the game. Some of the notes are saying that he's not exactly the greatest fielder, and he knows it, so why does he even get near it?
You can't win a gold glove using the bare hand.
Unless you're Omar Vizquel. He's one guy that has perfected it. But Brett Anderson, nowhere on that level.
Ouch. Now, how much damage has he done? That's the real question. He can try a few pitches here.
How about the movement at shortstop right here? Apparently, at shortstop, there's the feeling that this ground ball is going to be caught handily, he says, at the mound.
Yeah, as soon as it got by him, did you hear what he muttered? He goes, dummy. It may not be hurting him now, but it could be one of those situations where it develops into a situation where later in the game the blood flow gets back into it and starts messing with him a little bit. May alter his slider, who knows? May alter something, but for right now he says he's good to go.
Well, after he returned from Tommy John surgery last August 21st, he went back on the disabled list with an oblique injury September 19th. Corporan on at first for Matt Dominguez, a .231 hitter with 2 runs batted in. He looks at ball 1. Anderson has lost a few miles per hour off his previous velocity, but still effective last year with 25 strikeouts, 35 innings, a low ERA of 2.57.
A lot of times, excuse me, people will think with a left-hander on the hill, the running game gets shut down. But if you have a left-hander that just kind of has that high leg kick, maybe doesn't change things very often. To me, throws over to first base a lot of times are so overrated, especially on right-hand pitching. But if you're not quick to the plate, that running game can have some impact. And the Astros have been really minus the running game. Of course, it's hard to run when you don't have base runners.
They have not attempted a steal so far through 5 games.
That looks tasty.
Yeah, the thumbnail looks like it might have been what got bit there on the ground ball.
Now it's 3-0, so that could really affect things here for Brett Anderson. 3-1, rather.
Yeah, you can see him sucking on his thumb.
That happens a lot in Major League Baseball.
Yes,
what's your point?
Usually not on the mound. Usually try and hide in the dugout, getting away from the cameras.
Now 3-2 to Dominguez. Anderson not known for having a decent move to first base.
And I don't mind Matt taking that pitch right there. Saw 3 straight balls and then a couple of heaters. But in a 3-1 count, going to that 3-2 count, more often than not, they're going to try and repeat.
Ground ball fair. Here's a diving play, and Donaldson with a throw. Beautiful play. That is magnificent work by Donaldson for out number 2. Looked like a double off the bat.
And we've got our pitch by pitch presented by Steel Dealers. We feature Matt Dominguez watching one early in the count. In fact, he watched pitches all the way to the 3-2 count. Seeing the ball well there, you can see the front shoulder staying closed. He eventually takes one on the inside edge in a count where maybe it was time to let it fly, and then gets just completely pickpocketed here on a great play at third base by Donaldson. You get that ball over the bag, you figure you got yourself at least an infield single.
That was very impressive. Now Brandon Barnes with the runner at second. And there's strike 1 to Barnes. He was the opening night starter in right field. What a thrill for him. He's been in the organization for 9 years. Thought seriously about quitting the game a couple of times. And that was a triumphant way to begin the season. It's 1-1. On the previous pitch, Corcoran was really taking liberties off second base.
You can do that when nobody defensively comes anywhere near the bag.
Fly ball up the right field line, goes back out of play. Blummer on that excellent play on Dominguez's ball. That was really some kind of glove work by Donaldson.
Yeah, you don't expect that too often from a guy who's moved from behind the plate to go over to third base, but he did a good job knocking that. He figured just try and knock it down and keep it from becoming a double, but he did a good job of gloving it and then showed off the arm that he's got from going from behind the plate to third base, but got a decent jump on it. But I mean, you see he reached out and just snatched that thing.
Yeah.
But made a good exchange of that bare hand and made a great strong throw across the diamond.
Really quick glove work the way he snatched that ball.
As a guy who played a lot of third base, Jeff, what was the toughest play for you?
Me, it was going to my left. I had a tough time going into the hole for whatever reason, but I didn't mind so much going to that backhand side just because I thought it was a lot of fun to make that catch, come up throwing, and make a good throw across the diamond. It always looked good.
Barnes is down on strikes. That's number 4 for Anderson. No runs, a hit, and a man left for the Astros after 2-0 Oakland.
Oakland, they're trailing at 2-0 as we head to the top of the third. And it's easy to see what starter Lucas Harrell is feeling, showing his emotions on the mound. He told me everything changed for him in 2008. He was struggling in the minors, so he called his dad and said he wanted to quit the game. Well, without telling him, his dad showed up at his doorstep with his pickup truck and a shovel and said, "All right, you want to quit? I've got some work for you back at home, but you'll have to use this shovel." Needless to say, he opted to not pick up the shovel, and things worked out for him. How about that strategy for Dad, guys?
That is a good one. Hadn't heard that story, Julia. Coco Crisp leads it off. He led off the game with a double. There's ball one. Yeah, that brings a point home.
Yeah, that's some tough love from Dad right there.
Bet it is.
Dad digging his son out of a jam, huh?
2 balls, no strikes. And Harrell struggling to find that strike zone. Falls behind now 3-0 on Crisp. Spoke ran out. Let's look back at that first inning double on the 2-2 pitch to Crisp.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. It doesn't matter what you're throwing up there right now. He's got good plate coverage. His balance is good. He's hitting off speed out of the ballpark, driving sinkers away into the opposite field gap. Thankfully, he made a bad decision on running on that play right there, and we made a good throw and got the call.
Yeah, watching hit that left hand, I keep asking myself, did it actually get to the bag, or did Dominguez keep him off the bag? Because if he got that left hand in, he may have beaten the play.
That's a strike, making it 3-1 on Crisp.
Does this hand, yeah, tough to tell from there.
Third walk for Harrell.
Does this hand get onto the bag?
Well, that's why I thought it was a good idea for Dominguez to drop the knee down, but then Jeff pointed out that's a good way to get spiked as well. So
Bobby Grich used to do that a long time ago for the Angels. He was famous for just completely blocking you off the bag at second base.
John Jaso popped to third. Harrell throws over. Crisp was thrown out back in the first inning, trying to steal third, but he's an accomplished base stealer. 39 for 43 last year. 4th in the American League. And last year, when there was a right-handed pitcher on the mound and Crisp tried to run, he was not thrown out all season.
That's an interesting stat. There are some right-handers who will make life awfully tough on would-be base stealers. They're so quick to the plate. The thing about a guy like Coco Crisp is he's smart enough to know when to go and when not to. If you just can't beat this particular guy on the hill, just lay back.
Pop back, and that'll be out of play for a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
Take another look. Does Coco Crisp in that steal attempt early in the game get the hand on the bag, or does he get it on the knee? Right there it looks like knee, but I don't know about one frame further in that sequence. Well, there's one. Okay, we're splitting hairs now.
You asked for one.
Okay, it is the knee that appears to.
You're high maintenance, man.
I needed 3 frames and I asked for 1.
That's beautiful. We have the luxury of doing that. Why not? You know,
That's crazy.
Give it to the fans at home too. Let them check it out.
That's how it goes at the lunch line for me all the time too.
Well, that's a minute replay involving the Tim Welke call. Who, would love to see his call verified, but doesn't have that luxury. Struck him out looking. Jaso caught. Round number 1, first strikeout for Harrell.
Paint your way out of problems. Started inside, run it back to the plate. Looked like it ran plenty to get to the plate. Is it high enough? And I would say probably dealing it with the bottom of the knees range.
That's high enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it looked like it crossed it decent.
For a lot of umpires, they don't seem to like bottom of the knees, but it should be a strike.
Supposed to be by rule book definition. Strike 1 to Reddick.
The thing is, if you talk corners, any portion of the baseball touches, theoretically, a part of the corner, it's a strike. So therefore, at the bottom of the knees, if any portion of the baseball touches that line at the bottom of the knees, it should be a strike.
So one stitch of the baseball is
one
there.
stitch. That's all it takes.
That's
if you
it.
ask for 3, you may not get it.
1 ball, 1 strike.
There's an umpire that doesn't want to be second guessed from the dugouts, hollering out, "That's outside."
Would they tell you all the time where the pitch was?
Not all the time. No, most umpires will just kind of keep it quiet, and then the dugouts grumble.
Crisp is running, and it's foul. 1-2.
Where was that pitch? That's one of the standby lines down on the field.
Sometimes you don't get an answer to that question. Is that correct?
Very seldom you don't get an answer until you finally get the mask to come out from the home plate umpire. Heat comes a-flying.
Yeah, umpires do not like to be questioned at all, especially on location, or if that's too far outside, are you going to stay right there?
Of course, one of the other standards is that hitters will start, or rather pitchers will start complaining, "Where was that pitch?" And hitters will start hollering from the dugout, maybe sometimes even from home plate, "I'll let you know when it's a strike." Meaning, I'll hang out a line drive somewhere when you throw a strike.
Competitive banter is always good.
Nice little breeze coming through today. Whacked on a line to right field. Barnes there. That's out number 2. Barnes is considered to be the top defensive outfielder in the organization.
Join Kevin Eschenfelder on Sports Talk Live as we wrangle up some noteworthy sports guests that we have plenty of buzzworthy opinions, or rather they will, and play-by-play analysis. You never know who'll stop by on Sports Talk Live weekdays at 5.
Maybe even Alan Ashby.
Could happen. Laying in the woods most of the time.
Jed Lowry, line to left field in the 2nd inning. He's had a good hitting stroke going in this series. He's got that slight uppercut plane, Jeff, and he gets those topspin line drives, as you pointed out last night. Those Texas leaguers that go over the infielders and in front of the outfielders.
Yeah, he did a good job of getting underneath Bud Norris' slider yesterday and drove it out of the park. Pop is definitely in there.
It is in there. We saw that first couple months of the season last year. He was really putting together a good season offensively. It looked like he might be an all-star at that time.
It's hard to analyze those deals early on. When you give up a quality major league player, you get 2 or 3 guys that look like they have very fine talent, may develop into major league players, but it takes some time.
He had 340 at-bats last year. That's the most he's had in a major league season. Strike call there. Makes it 1-1 to Jed. Jed will turn 29 in 10 more days, so presumably right there in the peak area of his career. But to put up the numbers, he's got to stay healthy more. So what do? Tell yourself, I've got to stay healthy this year.
Do you rest him? Do you play him?
I can't have people stepping on my foot at second base.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
How did Cal Ripken do what he did?
It is amazing.
Yeah, you got to definitely have a little bit of luck on your side.
That took a horseshoe that you couldn't put on one of these flights you take as a team.
Boy. Playing shortstop. Runner going, and that's whacked toward the left field corner. J.D. Martinez watching this one go over him, and that's another 2-run shot. Jed Lowry with home run number 3. He is now 5 for 10 with 2 homers against the Astros. And home runs in consecutive games and a 6-game hitting streak for Lowry now.
As the game started this afternoon, the flags in center field I took a look at. They were just kind of barely moving towards center, maybe even right center just ahead. But here they go blowing toward left again. And Jed Lowry looks like he is watching every bit of the weather and what the wind is doing.
It's pretty impressive. I mean, we've seen some balls get blown out of here, but that ball was on a line. Some of that pop we've been talking about, but good grief.
6 home runs for the A's in this series. 0-2 to Brandon Moss.
Well, that's just finding a way right inside the pole.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Lucas Harrell allowed only 13 homers all year last year in 193 innings. 2-2.
The only thing you could really say about that pitch was on that outer half, but it was just a little bit elevated for Jed Lowry to get up there and drive that thing with that slight uppercut he has.
3-2. Would you say, Ash, that with the sinker baller, if he's falling behind, not getting calls, that can really be dangerous, because then he feels he has to come up a little bit more in the zone sometimes?
I think so. Most sinker ballers are guys that don't blow you away. And once they have to come back to the plate, the hitters have the advantage.
25th pitch of the inning, ball 4.
Unless you're talking about a Roy Halladay who had that power sinker.
Right.
Maybe right now has lost it, but you get a guy that can really bring it. Kevin Brown, back in the 98 playoffs, the Astros ran into that buzzsaw and just couldn't get through it.
Yep.
That guy was a nightmare to face.
I'll bet.
Oh.
Now Harrell struggling with his second walk of the inning and 4th of the game. He moves along to face Chris Young next. Young drew a walk and scored. Brown was just amazing that year.
Of course, the Astros had Randy Johnson, a pretty fair customer himself, but when you face a Kevin Brown, what was it, 3 starts in that series?
He started games 1 and 3, started 2.
Best of 5 series?
But, right.
Best of 5, and you face Kevin Brown a couple of times. It's not a good setup for your club.
Not at all. Turbo sinker.
Perfect description.
Over to first base, he gets back. And it's 2-0. And the Astros had primarily a right-handed hitting lineup, which made it even tougher to hit Kevin Brown.
And right from the knees. You can do it more quickly that way than any other way from behind the plate.
Strike makes it 2-0.
Little drop down piece right there with that sinker. Haven't seen him throw too many sliders out of that drop down area that's normally the Laredo slider that jumps out of the guy's hands like that, but trying to get a little extra movement, painted that inside corner right there.
It's 3 balls and a strike. The Astros starting pitchers have done a good job this year. They have not allowed more than 2 earned runs in a game until today. Last night, Bud Norris allowed 2 earned runs and 3 unearned runs in 5 2/3. And a walk. Their ERA was 2.63, but a 1-4 record for the starters. And now it'll be Seth Smith after the 5th walk for Harrell. And Doug Brocail's coming out. The left-handed long man worked last night. Dallas Keuchel worked 3 innings to help the others get a rest in the bullpen after Wesley Wright worked 1/3 of an inning. Those were the only 2 relievers who worked. So that gave the other guys an opportunity to get ready for today and be fresh for this game.
See Brett Wallace there in the picture before he heads back to first base. We talked about him struggling. He's in that mode where you can't make contact, and almost feel like it's the same scenario for Lucas Harrell, where all of a sudden he just can't make contact with the strike zone.
Smith, who hit the 2-run double to right center field, comes around for the 2nd time now. This will be the 75th pitch for Harrell. Norris threw 122 last night. Strike to Smith. There will be an off day coming on Thursday, so Norris and Harrell will have an extra day between starts. 3 games coming up in Seattle first. They'll all be 9-10 starts Houston time, Monday through Wednesday. No balls, 2 strikes. So we go back to that later West Coast starting time, and longtime Astros fans can well remember that. Back when you were playing, Ash, you'd go on a trip to the NL West. You go to sometimes San Diego, LA, San Francisco, and get those 9-10 starts.
Take some Larry King memory lessons for that.
This one sails over Corporon, then it kicks up, and the runners advance to 2nd and 3rd on the wild pitch.
Yeah, this has just gone ugly for Lucas Harrell. After a fine first start on the season, had a terrific spring training. That pitch is up, no question. Is it up so high that as a catcher you can't get to it? I don't know. I might debate that one.
Yeah, he did look catchable. But then it depends on how much he's missing the target by, right, as to what your expectations are.
Look, as a catcher, if you're looking breaking ball right there, anticipating downward movement, I could certainly see that fastball slipping on by. But if you have called fastball, that's in a pretty reasonable range.
Struck him out looking, and Smith is caught for out number 3, second strikeout. 2-run scoring on the Lowry homer, and 3 walks as well. Now the Astros trailing 4-0, try to get their offense cranked. Gonzalez, Altuve, and Maxwell. The perfect way to combine business and baseball, or a unique space to hold your next event. With state-of-the-art meeting spaces, Minute Maid Park can surpass all of your needs. Call 713-259-8800 for more information. Don't forget to ask about softball games and batting practice. Yeah, that Diamond Club behind home plate will work for that. Now, in a 4-0 game, there's Brett Anderson dealing, and it's strike 1 to Marwin Gonzalez, the number 9 hitter with a .300 average and 1 RBI.
Diamond Club is almost big enough now to take batting practice in there.
It really is huge. Strike makes it 0-2. It's been increased in space from 10,000 to 17,000 square feet. Huge TV screen in there, and it's right behind home plate, so you can have your event right there. Now it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Watching Brett Anderson, who tried to barehand a ball, hit up the middle by Carlos Corporán in the last inning. He was able to get Dominguez and Barnes after that. And he gets a strikeout. That's number 5, so it appears that his hand is not bothering him.
Well, the Astros cut down on the strikeouts yesterday. I believe just 4 against him in Game 5 of the season after setting that horrid pace early on. But now the strikeouts starting to show up again. 5 here on the afternoon.
That's their 65th strikeout of the season. This is game number 6. Jose Altuve had a punch out in the first. Altuve taking ball 1. When he started the game, he was hitting .400, tops in the majors for a second baseman. Looking at a push bunt there, he takes. It's 2-0. Now with a left-handed pitcher, if he could push that bunt by the pitcher, it would be an easy hit for him. Showing bunt again, and it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. In other words, bunted fairly hard to get it by the mound before the pitcher could get over and in front of the second baseman. 3 balls, 1 strike for Altuve. Astros have scored just 6 runs in their 4-game losing streak. Now he takes a walk. And for Anderson, who walked 4 in 7 innings. He'll have a base runner and somebody who can steal, but with the Astros trailing 4-0, that would be somewhat surprising if he did that. Maxwell the batter.
Yeah, you wonder at what point does Bo Porter say, man, let's just go ahead and try something different.
Try to get some life injected into this offense, which has scored 14 runs in the first 5 games. And was shut out in back-to-back encounters. Maxwell singled to center field earlier. And it's ball 1. Now we look at pitchers and where they situate themselves on the rubber all the time, with Anderson way over on the extreme third base edge here. Gives him that straight on opportunity to come inside on a right-handed batter on that corner of the plate. It's 2-0.
He's got that good down and in slider. You almost think he'd be on the first base side to really create that cross angle, but he feels pretty comfortable on that third base side.
Pitchers don't move around on that rubber, do they? They just stay in that one place the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, Ash might have more knowledge on that, but I haven't seen too many guys make the adjustment moving from both sides of the rubber.
It's an adjustment that sometimes will take place here and there during the course of a season. Pitching coaches always looking for a little something, just like hitting coaches do with hitters. Let's try this, let's try that. I've heard of a pitcher just recently talking about a previous season, and it may have been a retired pitcher, said he moved from one side to the other depending on this or that during the ballgame.
Smashed to third. Donaldson got it trapped. Now he gets it on to second. One hop Sogard throw is by the first baseman. And here's a play at second now. And there is a tag for the out on Maxwell. So he tried to get that extra base. The carom went back to Moss. He got it back to Sogard. And that's the third. They got a carom back to Moss, who threw to Sogard for the tag on Maxwell on a strange play there to win the third inning on that 3-4 play involving Maxwell. Now Donaldson leads it off in the fourth inning. Donaldson, in starting that play, looked like the ball was kind of stuck in the webbing of his glove, Jeff, and that threw the timing off a little bit, but they got the out at second, and then Sogard's throw skipped by Moss.
Yeah, you play third base often enough, you're going to find that some of these balls are hit so hard they catch you.
Bunt goes foul. 0-2. Through 3 innings, Harrell has thrown 37 balls to Anderson's 16. And the A's have 5 walks in this game. A's are going on to Anaheim for a 3-game series next. In the air, and Right fielder comes over Barnes for a look at it, but it's out of play for Brandon. 0-2. Alan Ashby will give us a scouting report on the Seattle starters for the upcoming series.
I'm not open to giving it to anybody, just anybody. You two guys, we're going to sit down and powwow. But
how much do we have to pay you for this?
It'll come in the form of other payment over the course of the year.
Maybe a guitar lesson?
That would be good, yes.
That would be really
Line
good.
me up with one of the greats, and everything will be even.
Well, we saw your guitar all packed for the lengthy road trip.
Brought it for you gentlemen.
Great.
Can't wait to get around that campfire.
Pacific Northwest. That's it. We'll go camping.
You know what? We may be in need of a campfire up there a few nights.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, a little team powwow.
Oh, yes.
Tell some stories. Get things
Marshmallows.
right.
Lovely place, but can be a little wet and chilly at times.
Well, maybe we can go in for some cross-cutting while we're there.
Cross-cutting in the great Northwest. It seems to be a pair made in heaven.
It's a good ballpark, though, isn't it? Safeco Field.
Very nice.
Off the play 1 and 2. The fences have been moved in left center, something like 17 feet.
Good grief. That's a pretty good jump.
You bet it is.
Yeah, that place has been notorious for being one of the bigger ballparks in the league. Much like the adjustments they made down in Petco Park, bringing in the fences, trying to cut down, not Shea Stadium, Citi Field out in New York. Now they brought those in to make it a little more conducive to the home run and run production. And Seattle's jumping on the bandwagon.
And with an improved club from what we're hearing over last year. Again, a foul ball out of play.
Well, they've got a legit power hitter with Mike Morse now in that lineup.
Kendrys Morales, too.
Kendrys Morales.
Those guys can drive the ball out of the ballpark. But I wonder if Morse had that written into his contract. Said, "Hey, I'll come over there. You bring it in a couple feet."
Well, it worked for him against the A's. He hit 4 homers in 4 games against them. Swing and a miss there by Donaldson. Nope. It's called a foul ball. Loperan is arguing the call by Mike Everett. Now Bo Porter coming out.
Well, the look of Donaldson as he made the swing didn't look like the look of a guy that's saying, I fouled that ball. It looked like just kind of a concession.
Yep.
And a lot of times in these situations, you're going off a sound. And for us up here, we didn't hear that the nick off the bat and then the ball in the dirt. Pretty much just saw the swing and Corcoran block it up. And you can see by the replay, I didn't see any contact there.
No.
No, that's, you know, the sound that the umpire is maybe picking up is that sound of the ball hitting dirt, maybe the front of home plate.
I was going to say, he probably got thrown off by it actually hitting the dirt.
Yeah. That ball may have actually hit that edge right at the front of home plate. Fine job by Corcoran, but it doesn't pay off.
No, not at all. Now foul ball.
There's your basic foul tip. And you can hear that, especially down at home plate. There's that double sound.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everything happens so fast on those plays. Listen in.
Stereo here in the booth and double sound down there as well.
He almost held that one for a strikeout on a foul tip. And there was that carom to end the bottom of the last inning with Maxwell taking a turn towards second. That ball kicked right back to the first baseman Moss, who threw to Sogard. So another confrontation of 11 pitches here. Ground ball third. Dominguez. Let's look at that carom on Maxwell's ball.
Yeah, that play to me typifies the season to this point. Ball hit sharply, but handled at third base. They get the out, and then the throw goes on by. Everybody's thinking, well, can't the Astros be more aggressive? That's what I want to see. Well, there's aggressiveness, but it doesn't pay off because the ball kicks right back to the first baseman. It seems like the stars are not exactly aligned right now the way the Astros need.
Right to him.
And you can see it looked like Maxwell was coming out of the right field corner, taking that big wide turn.
Really did.
But it's tough to make that read when you get past the bag. You see the ball go by, you figure, oh, I've got a chance right here.
Mm-hmm.
But you even see the carom. I mean, it was maybe 3 or 4 inches away from going in the dugout and not having to make the turn.
When is it you come out of the corner as a base runner? That's when you're running hard through the bag, when you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't fault Maxwell at all. Not any part of that. Hit the ball sharply right at an infielder.
2-2 to Sogard.
And I think it's what makes up streaks during the course of a long season. Even the best of clubs will lose 5, 6 in a row here and there.
Wallace. 2 outs. Coco Crisp will be next. He has a double and a walk. 6 for 11 in the series. All 6 hits, extra base hits out of the leadoff man.
That's pretty impressive right there.
Third baseman Dominguez in even with the bag. Xavier Cedeno's warming up. Crisp showing bunt, and it's ball 1.
Yeah, we've seen a couple guys show bunt early in the counts, but I'm not so sure. I mean, Coco can bunt and probably will bunt, but he's swinging the bat so well.
And here's another one. A deep drive to right. Barnes watching this one go. Another Coco Crisp homer. Number 3 of the season. And that's 3 homers in as many games for Coco Crisp.
Before I got interrupted by Coco making a big swing on that pitch, I was saying sometimes these guys will show that bunt knowing that the pitcher's a little wild. Maybe get a pitch out of him, maybe distract the pitcher a little bit, get that first ball. But Coco Crisp in this series has not missed a pitch in his own.
One of those streaks we're just talking about. At some point coming up, Coco Crisp is going to hit the tough times, and he's going to say, what was I doing in that first week in Houston when I got it so hot?
Yeah, that's got to be one of the toughest things in baseball, is to have that muscle memory and that just memory alone to recall how you got so hot and were swinging the bat so well.
Jaso puts it in the air, and the pop-up caught by Matt Dominguez, but the Crisp homer makes it Oakland 5, Houston nothing in the 4th. Five to nothing, bottom of the 4th. Our Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index reveals the most traveled teams in the American League this year in terms of miles flown. The Seattle Mariners will travel 52,760 miles. The Angels 50,330. The A's 49,395. The Rangers 42,390. And the Astros 38,100 miles this season. And when they were in the NL Central, the Astros traveled more than any other team in the division. Ball 1 to J.D. Martinez, who bounced into a force play back in the 1st.
Yeah, those West Coast teams take a beating a little bit, knowing that when they do go to the East Coast a couple times a year, they have to go all the way across the country, whereas the Astros being in the middle kind of works out pretty good.
1 ball, 1 strike.
I'll check with you about 4 hours in tonight and see how good you think things are going.
Yep, I've done this trip a couple times. Now, but playing on the West Coast with San Diego, I didn't think it was all that bad because at least when you're on the West Coast, the travel within the division was so great. You know, the furthest trip for us in the NL West was going to Colorado.
Bounce to third. Backhanded Donaldson. 1 out. Take a look at the map in the AL West. Here's the long flight coming up to Seattle.
Yeah, that's a beast right there. And you got to make the jaunt all the way down the coast into Anaheim and then jump back up to Oakland and back to Houston.
And on back to Houston.
Piece of cake, guys.
How many movies will be seen by the entire club on this trip?
At least 400.
Maybe a nice over-under number.
Ground ball goes foul. Chris Carter with an 0-1 count. He struck out in the first inning.
Most downloaded, movies or books?
Oh, what a question. That's easy. Knowing the attention span of most ball players.
Ball shortstop for Lowry. I think we were talking about that last night, Jeff Blum, about shortstops or infielders in general that play the ball out in front. He has very good habits of doing that.
Yeah, it's good to watch. And, you know, most good infielders, and you really don't hear it that much when they're being described or talked about fundamentally, but most good infielders have great feet. And in order to have your hands in the right position to catch the ball, you got to have your feet getting you to that position. And Jed Lowry's making a pretty good example for us.
Red Wallace taps one slowly. Moss with the play. And it's a 7-pitch fourth inning for Brett Anderson and a 5-0 Oakland lead. Park, final game of the homestand. Welcome Josh Reddick to Houston. On the left, clean-shaven Josh Reddick, but he's now in a contest to get that WWE belt. Or you could go with Joaquin Phoenix on the left, or Ron Burgundy on the left, or James Harden.
Oh, I like the James Harden. That's good. Yeah. Where's Jeff Bagwell when you need him?
Yeah, we need a special baggy presentation of that goatee he was working a couple years ago.
Yeah, that first picture of Reddick he had on the left-hand side following the game. I'm sure he had ice cream. What does he have now?
No balls, 2 strikes. He leans back from it. And Harrell has gone over 100 pitches for the game.
I would think ribs, barbecue ribs would be out of the question.
Oh, yes. Harrell reached for it with his bare hand. Marwin Gonzalez, good play.
It's a whole new ball game for the Houston Astros, and prorated season ticket packages and flexible mini packages are available right now. To learn about all the exclusive benefits and the pricing, Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com.
Jed Lowry ripped a 2-run homer in the third inning. He's 1 for 2. Maxwell's over in left center field for Lowry. Lowry looks at ball 1.
These A's hitters the whole series have not looked uncomfortable at all in the box.
Nope.
In any of their at-bats.
Over shortstop and looping in for a hit. Marwin Gonzalez watches it being fielded by Justin Maxwell, and Lowry has 2 more hits in this game.
These A's played .500 in the first half of the season a year ago and then just tore it up in the second half.
What do you think they'll do this year?
You know, you look at the rosters of the Texas Rangers and the Anaheim Angels, and they look so good. But the A's find a way. A's don't have Cespedes in the lineup today. When he's in there, they've got a genuine force. Reddick is one of those guys. They've got some guys who play well.
They're a young group of guys. I don't know how much that plays into it, but you know, some of the older guys have to pace themselves and on some of these other ball clubs and have been injury prone on the Rangers and Angels. But you've got a young team like the A's who can fight through some of those dog days a little bit, you know, and so later in the season they have a tendency to make those runs when other teams are kind of trying to tread water a little bit. And these guys went running right by them last year.
You can see with that graphic, the A's early on in the season, well below the .500 mark. Really amazing the way they turned it around.
2 balls and a strike.
Another peak. 22-30 through June 1st. They were not a club that you figured you were going to contend with. Up to the All-Star break, .500, and then a great second half.
Now, that month of September was incredible.
Into right field. A single for Moss after 2 walks, and it's first and second, 1 out. Cedeno throwing again in the Astros bullpen, and Young will be due up.
The thing about the Oakland A's is they always give you hope. They're not a team that goes out and spends big dollars to bring in big name stars. They find guys that can get it done here and there. They complement each other well. They go the other way. It's a team that when you play a series with them, you kind of think back and say, how did they do that?
And that's a system they set in place when Billy Beane went over there. You know, they have a program, they're going to stick to it, and you see similarities in a young Astros team like ours. Hopefully they're laying down the groundwork for something that can translate into a long-term success and consistency like these A's have done. They've done a great job of it, signing guys that fit into that mold and work. And they mesh in the clubhouse too.
Only 9 players returning from last year's opening roster on this club.
High to left field. This one's got some good distance on it. And taking the tour, there's Houston native Chris Young. That's home run number 2 for Young. After 2 walks, he clouts one. And now it is turning into a big score for the Oakland A's after the 3-run shot. Oakland leads at 8-0 as Young comes home.
Tough day for Lucas Harrell. I mean, that's 111 pitches. I'm sure Bo Porter was trying to stay away from his bullpen as long as he could, but Lucas Harrell didn't have the stuff today to allow him to get deeper into that game. Hanging sinker, and Chris Young didn't miss that for anything and drove it deep out of this ballpark.
If you drop down a little bit as a right-hander right there and leave the ball on inner third, you're kind of putting it right in the wheelhouse of the hitter who might be bailing a hair.
Cedeno's coming in. It's 8-0 Oakland. We'll be right back. strength of 3 long balls to give them 7 now in this 3-game series. Xavier Cedeno comes out of the bullpen to make a lefty-on-lefty matchup with Seth Smith, who has a 2-run double in 2 trips. No decision, but no innings pitched, and a very rough one for him Friday night. And he gave up those 6 runs, 3 of them earned. Strike 1 to Smith. Cedeno walked 3. 1 ball, 1 strike. He pitched for Team Puerto Rico in the World Baseball Classic. Pitched very well for that club, which went to the championship. 2 balls and 1 strike. Lucas Harrell in 4 1/3 allowed 7 hits and 8 earned runs, walking 5, fanning 2.
That's a tough spot to be in. You're so frustrated. It didn't go your way, and now you know you've got to wait another 5+ days before you get another shot at it.
Yeah. 2-2 is the count. Carlos Marmol has already lost his job as the Cubs closer. That didn't take long.
Might have been some lingering issues that he's had in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
He's got electric stuff, but just became real predictable, I know, in facing him over the last couple of years. He could almost sit on certain pitches in certain counts, and he would leave it out over the plate.
Yuji Fujikawa's taking over for him. The line shot left field corner. That's foul.
Handcuffing the ball boy down there.
That was a screamer.
Grab the stool, catch the ball, grab the stool, catch the ball. Oh.
Too hot to handle.
He's going to shake this one off.
Marmol gave up home runs last night. You saw the Braves flurry. Did you see that blummer on the highlights?
Heads up, coming in hot.
Oh my.
Oh, well, hey.
Usually
protected the right parts there, though.
Yeah.
Usually better when you use leather and not leg.
Well, I'm going to give him a pass on that because he couldn't back up. He had people sitting behind him.
Man,
He did.
He went right after it.
Took one for the team right there. MLB.com at bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At bat delivers Astros baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Astros.com for details.
Josh Donaldson, ball 1. Remember back in the old days, Jeff, when we used to say, boy, I can't wait for that BlackBerry 2 to come out.
I know, right?
The old days, huh?
Way back in 2011.
Way back before Ash knew how to play the guitar.
There you go.
Shot on the ground. There's Dominguez. Beautiful play. On to Altuve. And then to Wallace. And that's a 5-4-3 to wrap it up here in the top of the 5th inning with the A's tacking on 3 runs on 3 hits. Smooth twin killing to finish it 8-0 Oakland. American League road trip. It all starts with Astros pregame live tomorrow at 8:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Your home for your home teams. And we look at tomorrow's pitching matchup, brought to you by Chevron. Care for your car. Philip Umber, author of that perfect game in Seattle last year for the White Sox, and lefty Joe Saunders will duel tomorrow night at Safeco Field. Carlos Corporan just took ball one, leading off the home fifth inning. He singled up the middle first time up. And it's a strike to make it 1-1. So Ash is going to give us the scouting report on Joe Saunders, Brandon Maurer, and Blake Bevan, the three pitchers who will start for the Mariners in that series. Have you seen all these guys? We haven't seen Maurer because he's a rookie, right?
Yeah, he's the rook that I have not seen. But Joe Saunders is a good guy for getaway day.
Okay.
Works quickly, puts the ball in play.
Well, can we just go ahead and leave then after that game?
No, it's too good of a city to leave that quickly. But I think he should always be set up for the final day of the series.
Okay.
I agree. Yeah, he works quick and isn't afraid of contact.
Oh, Jaso throws it away on the strikeout. Corporan will try to get second. The ball is dropped, and he'll make it. Well, Jaso scrambling through the ball into right field. And that allowed Corporan to overcome a strikeout and get to second base. Strikeout and E2.
Boy, it's epidemic with the strikeouts. And then you can see almost the snow cone before this ball came out of the hand.
Yeah, you can see when he picked it up, he didn't have that grip, did he, Ash?
Never going to serve you well like that. Happens a lot of times when you barehand balls, you don't pick it up exactly right.
Doesn't matter how it happens. We got a leadoff guy at second base.
Leadoff double right there, baby. There's strike one to Matt Dominguez.
Yeah, you get to a point in the ball game, though, down 8 runs. You can't play that move him over and make sure he scores game.
No.
Yeah, we are not in a situational type game right now. We are trying to score some runs as quick and as fast as we can.
1 ball, 1 strike to Matt Dominguez, who was good in starting that double play in the top of the inning. Ball was laced. Got those nice soft hands. In the air, and Coco Crisp is over toward left center, or Young rather. Young makes the catch, and that's out number 1. Coco played the first couple games at center, but he's DHing today. So Young, who's familiar with that position, comes over for the catch. And it's Brandon Barnes coming up next.
I wouldn't have been shocked to see Coco come out of the dugout and make that play the way he's been doing everything else.
He's everywhere, isn't he?
No question about it.
What a series for Crisp. Hot Coco here in Houston.
The thing, you go into a series like this and you don't anticipate getting Coco'd.
No.
But clearly that's what's gone on.
Barnes struck out back in the second inning. Looking at that first pitch, and Anderson likes to move in on right-handed hitters, but that's ball 1. He can go both ways, hit the outside edge, and that ball a little bit away from him, or the breaking pitch down and in on their back foot. Fouled away. 1-1. So, Jeff Blum, what do we do in Seattle? Drink coffee?
Yeah, there's some options up there as far as coffee. The originator of the corner coffee shops, I think, started up there with the original Starbucks.
Yeah.
And you could probably walk a 2-block radius and have about 6 coffees. We can go down and catch some flying fish.
Yeah.
At the fish market.
Okay. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, my wife will love it when I mention this. You can also do some shopping. The Nordstrom.
Are you a big shopper?
Oh,
I see you as a
can
big
you tell
shopper.
by the shirt, Ash?
Yeah, nice orange.
I get a little stylish every now and then.
Is
I'm
that
not
the
ashamed of it?
Is that the headquarters of Nordstrom?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're up there in Seattle, which should be interesting. But plenty to do.
Line shot to right field by Barnes.
Is that his first big league hit?
No.
No? Oh. He's getting excited there.
You had that finger up in it.
First one of the year.
Yeah, first one of the year. That was hit well.
It was hit well.
This is nice. Take that pitch outside corner, maybe even off the plate, and line it the other way. If you can actually do this on a semi-regular basis, you have a chance of having a very nice career.
Yes.
That was a good job. That was a backdoor breaking ball right there. Waited patiently for it and drove it into right field.
That is, by the way, hit number 21.
Okay.
Thank you.
Of his
I
career.
apologize. Just getting a little excited.
He wanted you to know that.
Yeah.
Hit number 3 for the Astros, and now Marwin Gonzalez. The Astros need a big inning. They have 2 men on. Marwin struck out looking in the 3rd. Now Brandon had 98 at bats last year with the Astros. Well, he was at 3 different places: Corpus Christi, Oklahoma City, and Houston. And kind of a meteoric rise to the big leagues, and then opening day this year. Very big moment, very emotional for him to be introduced. Smack foul, earned by Corp. Watch out.
That was a heartbeat checker for Corporon.
It really was.
Go back inside and ask the equipment manager for a new pair of shorts.
That one wrapped right around him almost.
As a base runner, kids, always stay outside that line at third base. If you do get hit, and we don't recommend it, at least it's a foul ball. Otherwise, you're out.
Were you ever hit by a batted ball in play, Hank?
No. Wow, that's just.
That's knowing your body right there.
Yeah, it is.
I got this one covered, I think. I don't recall. Defensively, I stayed in foul territory all the time.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, took a lot of balls off the body. As a base runner, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
My footwork was not quick, but it was quick enough, I guess.
Well, sometimes on something like a hit and run play, got a little line drive right where you're going. Or a hot ground ball. And if you get hit, you're out. But back in the old days, really old days.
Talking Blackberry 2 days?
Yeah, Blackberry 2 days. Infielders would try to hit guys with their throws and get them out that way. Struck him out.
Reggie Jackson in the World Series, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Stuck that right leg out. Get hit by the throw.
Of course, that went the other way. Trying to make sure he got hit by a throw.
Now 2 outs, and it's Jose Altuve. He struck out in the 1st and walked in the 3rd inning. Boston is really walloping Toronto. 13-0 now in the bottom of the 9th. So John Farrell comes back to Rogers Center, and this club would win the series with a win today. Probably pretty safe right now, 13-0. Strike one to Altuve.
I'll say this: if the Blue Jays, who a lot of people think might be the team to beat in the American League East this year, if they are to win it, they're going to need a big year from Jose Bautista once again, and he's been AWOL here the last few days.
Yeah, he has been banged up.
Sore ankle.
Well, for Boston today, Will Middlebrooks has hit 3 home runs, giving 4.
Kid's a talented looking young third baseman.
Some real talent in the stands as well.
Yeah, that's a nice play.
Ellsbury hit 1, Napoli, Nava. So 6 long balls for the Red Sox today.
Reminder to the fans: when you make a nice play like that, sit down and act like you've done it before.
That's hard to do if you haven't. 1 and 2.
Getting back to that Boston game, it doesn't look like that knuckleball translates north of the border, huh?
Yeah. Well,
hey, Dickey, it's 2 starts in a row. He's getting roughed up a little bit.
Yeah, and Aaron Sebia had problems catching it in his first start. Up the right field line, Reddick over and into foul ground, reaching out. Oh, he hits hard. That can really hurt. Boy, he's down.
That's not going to be good.
See, this is my point about corner outfielders and dealing with the walls toward foul territory.
You're right.
I think the center fielder really has the easier gig in that regard.
Well, especially when the wall is a hard surface like that one is. We've seen outfielders have problems with that before.
Remember years back, 2002, 2003, Jason Lane basically doing a face plant into one of those things. And what people can't see on TV is that behind that Houston sign that's taped up there, that's pretty much wrought iron.
Yeah.
And concrete holding it down at the bottom, and he banged into that thing full body pretty hard.
Right wrist area, looks like, Jeff. Oh,
That's not good.
Oh, no.
He's a big cog in that lineup.
Does not look good at all.
Oh, boy.
Just the way he's clutching it to his chest. And he'll come out of this game.
I watch and listen to teams, managers talking about they want to keep Mike Trout out of center field and give him a chance to play in a soft spot in left field. But this is what that corner outfielder deals with. Tell him to, go easy when you're near the wall. That's just not in the DNA.
Yeah, when you're going head first into that, he didn't have a chance to break into a slide till way too late. Had to put the hands out in front to protect his face from going into that fence, and looked like that right hand took the brunt of it.
Sure did.
I thought his knee hitting that concrete down below was going to be the area that would come out having the most problem, but apparently not.
Yeah, he's going to wake up tomorrow. There's going to be all kinds of other body parts hurting in that one, because I thought, too, that knee going into that concrete base of the wall was going to do the most damage.
Yoenis Cespedes is coming off the bench to go out to left field. Seth Smith is going to move from left to right.
Yeah, you're on a dead run that far down the line. Ball twisting away from him. Gave it a good lunge, but just way too close to that fence.
And that's one of those plays. Had Reddick had one more step already toward the wall, he could have face planted.
Leaning forward, losing his balance. So there's Smith moving across to right, which is more the Sun field today. Checking that Sun positioning. And Altuve is still at the plate with a 1-2 count and 2 outs in the inning. Runners at first and third. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, that's part of it too. We talk about the unfamiliarity of these clubs with each other and with ballparks. Cespedes in left field, and Reddick hasn't played here before. Altuve strikes out. It's no runs, a hit, 1 error, 2 men left after 5, 8-0 Oakland.
Hosting the A's, trailing 8-0 as we head to the top of the 6th. Our AT&T tweet of the game comes from Brian T. Smith, the Astros beat reporter for the Houston Chronicle. It read, Astros Dalek Keuchel did what 7th inning relievers are supposed to do. Fired, set agenda, didn't slow down. 3 up, 3 down. He's, of course, talking about Dallas's outing last night. It was his first appearance with the Astros this season. He was recalled from AAA after Travis Blackley was sent to the 15-day DL, and it was a nice inning. He pitched 3 innings, finished out the game for the Astros, gave up 1 earned run, and he did it just about a couple of hours after he landed in Houston, guys. He missed his first flight, so we didn't get here till about 5:30, and of course, a couple hours later on the mound, maybe running off some adrenaline.
He did well. We go to the 6th inning now. It's 8-0 Oakland. Eric Sogard leading it off. He's 0 for 2. And it's Xavier Cedeno in the game. He came in to get that double play. And Lucas Harrell in 4 1/3 innings allowed 7 hits, 8 runs, walking 5. There's strike 1. R.A. Dickey gave up 7 earned runs. That was a hit batsman. Sogard reaching on it. Cedeno struggling with his control on this homestand in back-to-back outings. He'll face Crisp next. Crisp has a perfect day going. Double, walk, homer.
Well, you're starting out the 6th inning. You've already walked 5 A's hitters, given up 3 home runs in the process, and now you hit a man to start an inning. Tough to win that way.
Crisp flashes 1 foul. 4 strike. So R.A. Dickey's ERA now after 2 games is 8.44. John Lester beating him today 13-0 the final. Boston winning it to go to 4-2.
John Lester looks like he might have regained form now with John Farrell, his former pitching coach, back as the manager.
Good point. Gonzalez sliding, loses his balance, now throws, gets the out at second. A very athletic play. He's still down now and getting up slowly as he was able to hang in there and get that accurate throw to Altuve for out number 1.
Anything but an easy play, but a little surprised to see him go to the knees on the play.
Yeah, I think that's where he ran into trouble. Luckily, he had the short throw to make, but he kind of jammed everything down into the dirt right there, making that play.
He really did. He did get in front of it, but it was a complicated play to make. Jaso was strike 1.
Absolutely nothing coming easy to these Astros.
No. Isn't that the way it goes in this game so often?
Jeff, if you watched a shortstop in the past that just amazed you with his ability to go right like this and get that play started.
Yeah, I know Astro fans are always going to jump on the Adam Everett train, which is a good thing to do because he was one of the more consistent, less flashy guys. I don't think even though he got a lot of credit, I don't think he got as much as he could have because he was so consistent at making tough plays like that look routine. But one of the more fantastic and showy shortstops I've ever seen in my life and had the chance to actually play with was Khalil Green. He was amazing.
Right. He was good.
I actually thought you might throw another name out. I couldn't remember what years you were in Arizona, but John McDonald is maybe one of the most astounding guys on that play I've ever seen.
Full foul, 1-2.
Yeah, Johnny Mac's probably got the quickest hands I've seen of any infielder.
Just to the point where a lot of times I felt like in watching him, you want to say, just slow it down. You don't need to do that, but he'd leave you with your mouth open every time.
I agree. Yeah, he does. He is so fast. You're like, just take it easy.
Yeah,
just make a good play.
Take a breath.
He was on the money most of the time with it.
Looping liner hit to center field. Jaso's aboard. He's 1 for 4.
Astros big and bright Friday night, so the perfect combination of baseball and family fun. Each Friday night game is followed by a spectacular fireworks show presented by Marathon Oil. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com to get your tickets today.
That's a big show on Friday night. Yoenis Cespedes, we heard, was trying to talk his way into the lineup today. Well, now he's in there because of the injury. Hitting 130 with 2 homers, 5 runs batted in. He had a problem on a swing last night. Seemed to have hurt his left hand, we thought, but here he is playing. And taking that first pitch for ball 1. Cespedes was a real mainstay of this club last year. Finished second in Rookie of the Year balloting to Mike Trout. And 23 homers, 82 runs batted in. 292 average for Cespedes. Big hits late in games for him. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Pretty tough to beat a guy in the Rookie of the Year honors when that person happens to be Mike Trout and was considered by many to be the MVP in the league.
That's just bad timing on Yoenis' part. Got to plan that entry into the league when the guy's not going to light up the league with everything that Mike Trout did.
Puts this one in the air, and here's Barnes in right field for out number 2. Ted Lowry to follow. Lowry with 6 hits in this series. He and Crisp, among others, have really had a great time with the bat here in Houston this weekend. Kansas City leads the Phillies 8-4. They're in the bottom of the 7th. Billy Butler hit his first home run. Phillies had that exciting walk-off win last night over the Royals. Royals closer, he had a rough night of it. Just didn't throw the ball well. Holland.
Base on balls came back to haunt him.
It really did. Ball down and in, ball 1 to Lowry. St. Louis and San Francisco have a late afternoon start in the city by the bay for Adam Wainwright and Matt Cain. Angels are at Texas tonight. Yu Darvish up for another Sunday night game. He's in the spotlight.
It's a good matchup tonight.
Jared Weaver. Yeah. Bounce to third. Dominguez backs up. No play at second. He goes over to first with it for out number 3. No runs, a hit, 2 men stranded. Middle of the 6th inning, 8-0 Oakland. Coming, we want to remind you to tune in to Chevy Hometown Kids every Saturday morning at 9:30 on CSN. Chevy Hometown Kids, where it's not about the score, but the experience. Plenty of kids here today on a Sunday afternoon, hoping the Astros can get the bats going. They trail 8-0, bottom of the 6th inning. Maxwell, Martinez, and Carter due up against lefty Brett Anderson, trying to notch his first win of the season. He has struck out 8 and walked 1 through 5. J-Max had a hit in the first inning and then was thrown out trying to advance on an overthrow at first in the 3rd. Looking at ball 1.
That came in the 3rd inning after hitting the ball very sharply to third base. Got the barrel out.
He can generate some bat speed. He's one of the batting practice champions with those long home runs.
Yeah, we used to have that label. I don't know if they still use it. MVP of BP.
Yeah.
it didn't pay really well.
No. Fly ball in shallow center field, and Young. It's a hit in front of him, and Maxwell is 2 for 3.
Well, you never want to be known as a 5 o'clock hitter.
No.
Those jobs don't pay too well.
Not unless the game starts at 5, but usually that's not the case. Now it's Martinez. Martinez 0 for 2.
Little jam shot. Take advantage when you can.
Young short hopped it. And JD looks at ball one. JD getting a chance to open the season with the Astros, with Fernando Martinez out with an injury. Sharply hit and off Anderson, and it goes to third. Donaldson, no play. Wow, he looks down at his hand again.
If it didn't work the first time, maybe it'll work the second time?
Crazy.
That is not what I would call classic defensive form there on the hill.
He does realize he has a glove on.
I don't know. Seems to use it well with the throwback from the catcher. Otherwise, I don't know.
Yeah.
Second mound injury visit to Anderson by Melvin and the trainer.
Dumb really isn't an injury you can treat, is it?
Whoa.
I mean, it wasn't coming at his head. It wasn't self-defense. It was like, oh, I got another chance. Oh.
Well, he's better off letting that ball go through than to do that. He might have a shot at the bag there at second.
I apologize. That may have been a little insensitive.
Not at all. I think his pitching coach might have stronger comments after the game.
Sensitivity has not been one of the tools I've perfected over the years. You can ask anybody I played with, but.
Well, that's another hit. Hit number 5. JD will take it. And 2 men on for Carter. Carter's 0 for 2. Yeah, the comebacker is not anything Anderson wants to see at this point.
If I ever hear about Brett Anderson being considered for a gold glove as a pitcher.
Gold hand, maybe. Carter is struck out and grounded out. It's, you know, one of those things, a quick reaction play, but of all things, do not try to barehand the ball, especially when it's hit sharply back to the mound.
I'd like to see the poster from that position he got in as he reached up to the ball.
Right. He got the first part of it right, ducking out of the way, and then at the last second, well, I think I should do something here. No balls, 2 strikes.
I wonder how big a fly swatter he's got at home.
Well, there have been some pitchers who have been challenged with the gloves down through the years.
You know, it was Greg Maddux rolling up all those gold gloves for years, and he was great. I take nothing away, but Mike Hampton was the guy that I thought was the stellar defensive pitcher.
Really good.
He was just an overall great athlete, but yeah, he was an extra fielder on the field when he got let go of that pitch.
I had never seen, still have never seen any other pitcher who could leap at a line drive other than Mike Hampton. That's ugly and just unnecessary. But watch ugly right here. That's very ugly.
You hate to laugh. I mean, I'm glad he's still in the game.
I'm actually fine with
not
it.
hurt, but good grief. This guy.
I think the Astros' best chance is to hit the ball to the pitcher.
Yeah, we're just going to lay down a bunch of bunts now and don't force Brett to take issue with it.
But, you know, it starts with being in good fielding position, which he's definitely not.
That is true, yeah. If you're not going to put yourself in a good position to be ready to make a play, you're going to end up doing things like Brett's doing tonight, this afternoon.
I'd like to see the A's do a little PFP, pitchers fielding practice, and have the other guys start imitating Brett Anderson.
But there's a good chance somebody in that clubhouse will imitate what is going on out there right now.
You know, it's always caring about your teammates at that moment.
Lifting them up, make them feel good.
Yeah.
But how do you practice that? He tried to check his swing. 3-2 on Carter now.
Yeah, this could work into a good situation. Carter's been putting together a pretty good AB, working the count 3-2, smashed a laser down the left field line, forcing that off-speed pitch right there. Getting a good call right here. Yeah, need a little help sometimes.
Yeah.
We've gotten a break in this inning to get 2 guys on, so hopefully we can leave something up in his zone and let Chris drive it.
And he draws a walk to load the bases with right-hander Evan Scribner warming up for the A's. So at this point, his left hand has taken a couple of shots off bats. And that has to be of concern to Bob Melvin right now.
Got the impression right there as Anderson went to the breaking ball 3-2 that maybe the A's see Chris Carter from their experience last year as a guy that you don't want to bring the fastball to when it's a fastball count.
And we've seen early in this season that he's having a tough time with those off-speed pitches, and even on a 3-2 count, he went to that off-speed trying to get Chris right there and just left it out of the strike zone.
Kurt Young, the pitching coach, out for a visit. Looks like it's the left thumb that's bothering Brett Anderson. As now it's Chris Riesoff warming up. Wallace is 0 for 2. Corcoran on deck. The bases loaded, nobody out. This could be the one that gets Brett Wallace going. And he fouls it for strike one. Jaso feeling the effect of that one.
Anybody who's ever caught knows about this foul tip. Doesn't look like much to people watching maybe at the ballpark or on TV. The ball goes down and hits the ground, but it comes immediately back up, and it's like, I don't know, like a scorpion, like an alligator, something coming up and just biting you.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's.
And in that region, it's got to be even more interesting.
Yeah.
I'd hate to get an alligator down in that region.
Exactly. The roller goes foul first base side, and it snowballs 2 strikes. Wallace hits the pitch away very powerfully to left center field. That's kind of his wheelhouse. A lot of pitchers try to challenge him inside. If he can get the bat extended, he can really do some damage. But now he's down looking for contact at 0-2 in the count with the bases loaded. Here he goes fishing and strikes out on a pitch in the dirt. 1 out. That's 9 strikeouts for Anderson.
Brett's just having a tough time finding that groove he was in spring training where he's swinging the bat so well. Things start going bad, you start picking up that ball a little too soon, and you try and hit that ball before it gets to the plate. As you can see right here, that ball being bouncing way out in front of the home plate.
Hard to figure a guy that was really drafted because of his hitting prowess, and we've seen it during the spring. He swung the bat well. It's not happening right now.
Curveball, strike one to Corcoran. Well, he hit that ball up the middle in the second inning off Anderson's bare hand on through into center field. Then he struck out in the 5th. Matt Dominguez is on deck. This is only the 2nd time this season the Astros have had the bases loaded for an at-bat. No balls, 2 strikes from Anderson.
When you don't get a lot of base runners and you find yourself in these situations with the bases loaded, it kind of exaggerates the moment a little bit. You know, as a ball player being in that dugout, that these situations aren't coming up. So when you're in the box, you have a tendency to get a little excited and want to try and do too much, knowing that you may not have this opportunity again.
I think a lot of times you start hearing in the dugout, come on, somebody pick us up. And you figure, well, why not me? Let's go ahead and see if I can do something big here for the club. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that when you fail, there's always that tendency to feel like I tried to do too much, and sometimes you probably did.
Again, it's 0-2. And another strikeout. That hook is working for Anderson. He's throwing soft. And he has those options of throwing anything he wants to. That's 89 pitches. That's 10 strikeouts.
And sometimes when you do face those younger teams, you can just keep peppering them with those off-speed pitches like you saw Carlos. He saw nothing but breaking balls, and he swung at most of them. In fact, I think he swung at all of them.
Now Matt Dominguez will try to give the Astros a pick-me-up. He's 0 for 2. And ball 1.
I think a lot of expectations on Matt Dominguez this year to, as a youngster, step up, be not only that fine-looking defensive third baseman that he appears to be, but to be a guy that can drive in big runs, hit with some pop.
It's 2-0 to him. Anderson has tied his major league strikeout high of 10, set September 18th of 2009 against Cleveland. The shot to short. Lowry spins, throws high, and a run scores, and now the ball kicks back into play, and a second runner scores. Throw to third. Out is the call there as Carter is gunned down. for the final out of the inning, but the Astros come up with a couple of runs on 2 hits. They have a man left. Here's the shot to Lowry. He spins, has plenty of time, but airmails a throw, and it kicks back off that netting. And here's a throw from Moss to third for the tag on Carter, 8-2. The moment away. The push for the playoffs is winding down. It's a point guard battle as Jeremy Lin takes on the Suns' Dragic. Tuesday, Rockets Suns coverage starts at 6:30 p.m. on Comcast Sportsnet. We'll be coming along later that same night with West Coast baseball. That'll be a 9-10 start Tuesday night for Eric Bedard. The former Mariner goes against Brandon Maurer. It'll be Eric's first start with the Astros. He had that good relief appearance with the save on opening night against Texas. Brandon Moss leads it off, and he takes strike one from Xavier Cedeno. Moss has 2 walks and a single to right field. So that last play of the inning was an E6 on Lowry, his first error of the year, and then a 3-5 play at third base on Carter for the final out. As the Astros got 2 unearned runs on 2 hits in the inning.
Looked like Carter at one point had actually stopped or very close to it at second base and then tried to move from that point.
Struck him out.
Committed that cardinal sin of making that third out at third, too.
Yeah. First strikeout for Cedeno.
Good sweeping breaking ball. We saw a couple of those in that sequence.
Yeah, that one was pretty nasty. It just kept going.
Chris Young with the homer after 2 walks has a big day going. Has 10 career home runs against the Astros now. There's strike one. Young's going to love having 9 games here at Minute Maid Park this season. With his 400+ batting average in this ballpark. Infield is shifted around, playing him to pull. And he shoots that one foul up the right field line. 0-2. Brett Wallace about halfway between first and second, as you see there.
It's a good shot at the right-handed shift. Moving Brett Wallace way off the bag.
Ground ball to shorter third. I want to see Wallace with that sprint to the back.
Yeah.
That's what I would be overly concerned about, too, as a ex-part-time first baseman.
Well, he's going to have to sprint almost as hard as Young.
Yeah, his first reaction on any ball hit's going to be dead left.
So if you're at third base and you get that ground ball and your first baseman sprinting to the bag, you're going to have to release before he turns and looks at you, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Fly ball on the end of the bat. No big deal here as Matt Dominguez on the pop foul handles it. Yeah. Pitch by pitch presented by Steel Dealers, and we do it on that at bat by Chris Young.
Starts him at the knees with the fastball. Does Cedeno. Another fastball foul down the line. Maybe trying to shoot to that hole on the right side. After the breaking ball, he gets the pop-up, and that's very wise with what we were talking about with the need for Wallace to sprint to the bag on the first base side.
Smith now moving back from ball one. 2-run double and a walk for Smith today. We have not heard a report on Josh Reddick, who left the game with an injury to his right arm, it appeared. And Smith moved from left field to right field after that. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's a big slizzer. That sweep and slider.
Just saying, he set him up nicely by throwing that first pitch up and in, and then daring him to stay in on that slider right there.
Ooh. I would suggest, as a left-hand hitter, when you see that pitch, it may look like it starts behind your right hip. Bob Melvin, he's done a lot of catching, and he's seen a few of those.
I bet he has. Off for the Giants for a while. Still 1-2. He's one of Phil Garner's coaches. New York, the Yankees are winning 7-0 at Detroit, bottom of the 9th inning. Jason Nix has a Yankee homer, his first of the year. That'll be a shot in the arm for Joe Girardi's club with a 1-4 record against the vaunted Tiger lineup. Roller out to Wallace. Oh, he kicks it, but Cedeno's there and he gets the out.
Perfect.
That is a good recovery as Cedeno reaches down. The ball got away from Wallace. He picked it off the ground to get the 3-1 out. In the middle of the 7th inning, it's Oakland leading at 8-2. We'll keep it right here for God Bless America.
Join us as we salute our great nation with the singing of God.
It's 8-2. The Athletics leading, and they go to a right-hander from their bullpen, Pat Neshek, to work the bottom of the 7th inning. Brett Anderson in 6 innings allowed 5 hits, 2 runs, no earned runs, walking 2, fanning 10 to tie his major league high, and took a couple of shots off his bare hand. Now with the big 6-run lead, it's Neshek appearing for the 2nd time in this series. In the opener Friday night, he did not retire a batter, giving up 2 hits and no runs. Gave up an RBI single to Matt Dominguez and another hit to Marwin Gonzalez. Brendan Barnes leads it off against him. He's 1 for 2. And it's in tight, ball 1. Hector Ambriz is warming up for the Astros. In that Yankee Tiger game, 7-0 bottom of the 9th, CC Sabathia went 7 shutout against Justin Verlander, who gave up 3 in his 7 1/3. Strike there makes it a 1-ball, 1-strike count. So Anderson in line for win number 1 of the season for the A's. He threw 92 pitches, 58 were strikes. 2 balls, 1 strike as Neshek works. He is 32 years old from Madison, Wisconsin. He was the career strikeout leader at Butler University. Came up with the Twins. Liner into the seats. 2-2 the count.
I know Xavier Cedeno is probably not overwhelmed with how well his outing went, but he ate up a good 3 innings for the Houston Astros, which was good to see.
Yeah, that can be really important when a club is struggling and trying to avoid using 3-4 relievers in a game, especially an 8-2 type affair as this one is.
And just a small silver lining in there.
Ambriz working in the pen. Yeah, it could be something that's really growing to be more and more important as the season moves along. Last year, the Astros led the league in reliever appearances, and it really caught up with them in the second half of the year.
Yeah, you would just hate for it to turn into a shuttle situation in between AAA and the big leagues in that bullpen for some of these guys.
Too bad. Barnes is caught looking. It's 11 more strikeouts today for Astros hitters, 71 for the season.
If your TV provider does not yet carry CSN, call and tell them you want your CSN. To get the facts and learn how you can help, go to iwantcsnhouston.com. We're working diligently to get CSN Houston on all TV providers.
Marwin Gonzalez is swift both times to the plate today. Ooh, Neshek came inside on Barnes and comes inside here on Gonzalez. 1-0.
Got those sidearmers you try and lean out over the plate because you know that ball's going to be sinking away, and then he chucks one up and in on you. Also noticed early on that Marwin's one of the more stylish Astros. He's always got he had the matching orange kicks.
Yeah.
On with the orange jerseys the other day, and now he's rocking the mostly white shoes. Maybe he's a believer in if you look good, you play good.
Yeah. 2 balls and a strike.
Generally, if you play good, you wind up looking pretty good.
That's true, too.
I'm sure that'd be the route that the fans and management would appreciate more. But after today, looking at the line score, you may want to get rid of these.
Well, remembering back to the Oakland A's of the 70s when Charlie Finley had those colorful teams, they really broke out the colors and the white shoes, and they were kind of trendsetters in the majors back in the days when the Cincinnati Reds players were allowed to wear only black, no stripes of white, nothing, just solid black. They were both good teams.
Very good teams.
Got a variety of looks there from the Oakland A's.
It's got to be a nightmare for the equipment managers around the league to have the A's in town.
Yeah. And, as you remember those days when Charlie Finley would pay his players to grow mustaches.
They had that look, and I think the Yankees refused to allow their players to have any facial hair, the Cincinnati Reds.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, now, just think if Charlie Finley owned the A's today, how much would he have to pay Josh Reddick for that beard?
Well,
Look at this.
That's Raleigh fingers on a couple PEDs.
Yeah.
That'll cost you a few bonuses along the way.
He was the founder of Los Caballitos, I believe, when Carlos Lee was here. There's strike 1 to Jose Altuve.
Yeah, if Charlie Finley was still around, Josh Reddick would look for that incentive clause in his contract for that beard he's got going now.
Charlie just felt that that was the way to make the players flashier and more personable, and he was willing to pay them, we'll say, $500 to grow those mustaches. So they all did, because at that point that was worth more than it is today.
Because that $500 that the players sought as they put their contracts together was not available. But unless you can grow some facial hair.
Yeah. Phil Garner chimed in with that too. He grew a nice mustache. 1 and 2. Let's see, we had Raleigh Fingers had the handlebar, and Sal Bando had
Joe
a mustache.
Rudy.
Joe Rudy, Gar.
Catfish, was he over
Catfish
there?
had, he had a mustache. Yep. Most of them had mustaches back in those days. And they had the white shoes.
He's a big Gene Tennis.
Gene Tennis, yeah. Gino Tanache, he grew the mustache too. He killed the Reds in that 1972 World Series. Hit 4 homers. Fly ball out to center field. Here's Young coming in, and Young is there.
Claudio Washington didn't need a mustache. He just had huge shoulders, that's all.
True, he did. He really did. Those were interesting teams. And I love to hear Phil Garner tell stories about those teams. Oh, he's got so many stories about those guys. Here's Maxwell now, 2 for 3. And there was the fight in the clubhouse. I mean, a real fight before a World Series game that he told about. And I think it was Blue Moon Odom decked Raleigh Fingers and knocked him backwards into a laundry cart. It's about an hour before game time. And I think Fingers saved the game that night. There's a strike. It's crazy stuff.
I've heard of getting fired up for a game, but good Lord.
That was all part of team chemistry.
Yeah, I'm going to knock the closer out and see how we go tonight, guys.
That was never a dull moment. Those Oakland A's. The fighting A's. I think some great players. Of course, Reggie Jackson.
They were always the poster children for it doesn't matter if you get along. Just go out and play good baseball.
True.
I think wherever Reggie went, though, there tended to be a little bit of that inclination toward teams maybe not getting along entirely.
Yeah, he was never one to shy away from that.
No, he was not. 2 balls, 1 strike to J-Max, Justin Maxwell. The Astros have been out hit 8-5 in this game. Oakland has made both the errors, each club with 5 left on base. So we'll have a repeat encounter in a Bay Area series at the end of this upcoming road trip. The Astros will continue to stay. Their hotel is still in San Francisco, even though they're playing in Oakland.
I think that's a wise choice.
Any good hotels in Oakland you know of?
I know a few motels along the way.
Who was it?
No experience on my part.
Oh.
Gertrude Stein had the famous quote about Oakland. There is no there.
There is an airport there.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
I went to school up there, and we would play against the local junior colleges during the spring, winter months, and my roommate and I managed to tick off our manager at the time. And we had a game in Oakland against one of the junior colleges, and he put us in full uniform and made us take Bart to the game.
Oh, in uniform.
And we learned extremely quick that was not the best route to take. Made for an interesting walk from Bart to the ballpark.
Oh, yeah. Maxwell throws the second walk of the inning, and here's Martinez. Well, we've ridden that, haven't we, Ash?
I've ridden it many times. It's not a bad ride over there.
No.
That drops you off right there, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it does.
The complex that they have.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a little. I would pay to see you guys walking in uniform from the bar.
It was special.
That would be the trick. Yeah.
But Jack London Square down there has got some good restaurant, decent scenery. And I know that recently they've really tried to build up that area to bring in some more real estate type situations, but it's not doing so much as far as I know stadium issues that the Oakland A's are having over there.
No balls, 2 strikes.
Checking around to see if the A's were getting any closer to getting to San Jose, but the answer is a quick no.
Oh,
just nothing going on.
Okay. Martinez strikes out, and in the 7th inning, it's no runs, no hits, 2 men left. After 7, Athletics 8, Astros 2. Top of the 8th inning is next. Just as we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Take a look at this throw to third base. Carlos Corporan catches Coco Crisp. About the only thing bad that's happened to Coco all weekend in Houston, Texas.
That is very true. Still watching it, you see Dominguez put that knee down. He didn't put it down directly in front of the bag, but Coco, you know, it's tough to see what you're doing when you're face down in the dirt, but, you know, put his hand right into that knee.
Maybe he knew from the scouting report that Coco was going to try to put that hand in the backside of the bag.
That's what we're talking about. He just saberized the tag play at third.
Hector Ambrose is pitcher number 3. A nice job by Xavier Cedeno. 2 2/3 innings, 1 hit, no runs with 1 walk and a hit batter and a strikeout.
Is that a term now? You've been saberized?
Saberized, yeah.
It was in Star Wars 4, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, light saberized. I don't know. We could patent that thing.
We could.
Run with it.
Ambrose misses the corner on Donaldson. That's ball 1. Donaldson 0 for 3. Very unusual day here with the Brett Anderson game, taking 2 balls off his bare hand, and that carom shot. J Max thrown out at second. 1 ball, 1 strike. 16,914 the paid attendance for game 3 of a 3-game series. Final game of a 6-game homestand. That little guy's glad he's where he is. Seattle 3, White Sox 3, bottom of the 9th in Chicago. Kendrys Morales hit his first homer for Seattle, and Michael Morse, number 5. 2 balls and a strike. Adam Dunn hit number 2, and Alex Rios number 3 for the White Sox. Now straight back. 2 balls, 2 strikes, so that should be a very big crowd for the home opener for the Mariners tomorrow night. Philip Humber and Joe Saunders right here, 8:30 for Astros Live leading into that game. Little topper, and it goes foul, third base side. And if you're wondering, Jeff Blum's, he's a West Coast guy, but you've lived in Houston a lot, so you know, with games starting on the West Coast later, people don't always get that opportunity to stay up and see the whole game. So Tuesday morning, if you've watched that game Monday night for maybe 6 or 7 innings, you didn't know how it came out, you can turn on CSN Houston and they'll have a complete highlight package for you early in the morning.
That's extremely good thinking on their part, realizing that time change does kind of mess with things as far as being a fan.
really
and some of those kids, I mean, it's not so good for the kids because they're going to bed early and have to go to school the next day. But with the way DVRs and things like that are these days, it's a good opportunity for people to catch more of us.
Yes, it is. And more of us. Is that a good thing, Ash?
It's got to be a good thing.
Okay.
I was just thinking the Astros have got to find a little West Coast offense here as they fly out this evening.
All right. Well, maybe that patented passing game, slants over the middle and things like that.
Don't have to go deep all the time. Just pick away.
Okay.
Be a good key to one of those games, yeah. Work on those short crossing routes and then bring them in a little bit and then go over the defense.
Okay.
Of course, that long game has been tough to come by as well of late.
Yeah.
We're just waiting to get to a bigger ballpark like Seattle to really demonstrate how powerful we are.
Strikeout for Embrys. On this date, in some year in history, something really big happened. Oh, it was Ken Forsch and Alan Ashby collaborating on the earliest no-hitter in baseball history, defeating the Braves 6-0. Game was caught by Alan Ashby.
I had a good seat at that game. I really did.
Well, Ken Forsch told me that the hardest hit ball was a foul ball in that game. Is that?
I don't recall that, but I want to say that. Yeah, maybe I'm thinking of the Nolan Ryan no-hitter. Terry Poole made a nice catch in Nolan's out in right center field.
Yes, he did.
But I don't think there really was anything
he said
resembling a base hit.
Yeah, he said everything was routine.
Apparently.
Must be nice to put it on cruise control like that. That's a drive to center field. Maxwell heading back and over. 2 down.
Have you caught every no-hitter in Astros history? This is pretty impressive.
Nice.
No, seriously, how many do you have under your belt? This is great.
There may have been a couple that eluded me. I just wish I on the selfish side, I wanted to get number 4 so much.
Yeah.
And had Nolan Ryan 1 out in the 9th inning, and that got away against the Phillies. Mike Schmidt got jammed and thumbed one into center field, and then Mike Scott 2 outs in the 9th inning. Ken Oberkfell came up with a pinch hit that just stole that one. Those were tough to take.
Yeah.
As a catcher, that no-hitter is something very, very special.
Yeah, that's impressive. I didn't mean that in any kind of joking.
No.
I'm thoroughly impressed.
And the thing was, I was willing to share those no-hitters with the pitchers.
Oh, you were? Well, they help to lower your ERA, after all.
They
your
do,
catcher's
yes.
ERA. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Edgar Gonzalez, who was designated for assignment by the Astros, has been claimed on waivers by Toronto now.
Considering the way that game went for the Toronto Blue Jays, seeing that long relief situation might be interesting to see how he mixes in.
Yeah. 1 and 2.
Good for Edgar.
Yeah.
He knows how to pitch. He is a good long man, and he's good at anything, really. As one of his teammates was saying, well, he could pitch 3 innings of relief tonight, start for you tomorrow. He's just one of those rare guys who can adapt to different roles.
I liked watching some of the highlights I've seen on him with his changeup. I thought he had an effective change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's only developed that over the recent years, but he did a really good job of using that thing last year and in spring training to cut down on throwing so many fastballs like he did early on in his career when he first came up.
We wish him well. Now, Edgar and this guy who's pitching right now, Hector Ambrose, had a lot in common. Mexican background and really good buddies. But Edgar said, well, I'm a real Mexican. Hector's a fake Mexican. He was born in California.
I'm not going to touch that one, Brownie.
Yeah.
That's a direct quote.
You're probably safe, but it's me. I'm sitting over here thinking, not a chance in the world.
So for those of you who happen to be listening now, no, that's a direct quote.
Yeah.
From Edgar.
From Edgar Gonzalez, who's now, he's not even here anymore.
That's the way to cover
in Toronto.
He is now going to be hanging out with Canadians. You might as well bring everybody into the mix.
Yeah. And we have not been to the Alamo recently either, so that's not a part of this whole thing. Miami leads the Mets 3-2, bottom of the 9th inning.
I do not have a comment.
I'm amazed your mic is still working.
Leave the humor to the comedians.
Fly Ground ball behind first base. Wallace over into foul territory. Here's Barnes coming over with a catch. To end the top of the 8th inning in 1-2-3 fashion for Hector Ambriz. And that is the second 1-2-3 inning for the Astros. Bottom of the 8th is coming. Get a behind-the-scenes look at Minute Maid Park. Learn all about the ballpark by visiting areas like historic Union Station, the broadcasting booth, Alan Ashby's office, luxury suites, the Diamond Club, and much more. For more information, visit astros.com/tours or call 713-259-TOUR to schedule your tour today. Oh, we see those tours up here every day. Fun to see the people come up here and see how easy we have it. Bottom of the 8th inning, it's the DH, Chris Carter. He's 0 for 2 with a walk.
This is a pretty sweet setup.
Oh, isn't it, though?
Yeah.
Doesn't this game look easy from here?
Thank goodness. Spent all those years getting beat down and learning how to deal with failure. I get to come up here and enjoy it finally.
But you've heard the old saying, and you can now verify that the further you get from the field, the slower the game looks, right?
Yes. Trying not to take that blue pill or red pill that whatever makes, go to the other side and just say, it's an easy game. Why didn't you see that pitch coming? You got to understand that being fresh out of the game, this game is extremely hard. I just appreciate the fact that we can view it from here.
High to left center field by Carter. Young way back. Young at the wall leaping, and this one kicks back into play. Carter's headed for third. He will be in with a stand-up triple. First extra base hit for Carter. Almost had a home run.
How did this ball not get up over the wall?
How did they not find that overhang?
Yeah.
That's the real question.
Good to see him drive this ball. Ball floated back over the plate. He put that short swing on it, drove it out. That wind maybe pushed it away, but you could see that Chris Young had a tough time debating on whether or not to go to the wall or if it was going to play off that overhang. He has a little bit of experience with the overhang that they do have in Arizona, but a little bit different when you got to run that far at that kind of angle.
Yeah, that ball definitely stayed in play. And with Young going up, I thought on a ball that stayed in play, he'd come down with it.
Might have jumped too soon.
Well, there's a lot going on out there.
Good. Now lefty Jerry Blevins is coming in on this pitching change with Neshek leaving after the leadoff triple by Carter. It's 8-2 Oakland. Back in a moment. for the Astros, and they trail the A's 8-2. Ronnie Cedeno will be the pinch hitter.
Astros, Dynamos, Rockets, and more. We have all your sports news covered. Check out Sportsnet Central 7 days a week at 6, 10, and midnight right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Tonight's 10 Sportsnet Central is brought to you by TXU Energy.
Now the lefty Jerry Blevins comes in 3 games. He has an ERA of 0, and that prompts a counter move by Bo Porter. He's pinch hitting for Brett Wallace with Ronnie Cedeno. Cedeno pops it up. Brandon Moss at first base underneath. Goes over for the catch, and that's out number 1. So Cedeno, who was 0 for 4 last night, is retired. And Carlos Corporan was next. So Neshek goes 1 inning plus. And pitcher number 3, Blevins, who throws fastballs and cutters most of the time. 28 years old from Johnson City, Tennessee. Tries to get Corporan. Corp is 1 for 3 in this game. Matt Dominguez on deck. In tight for ball 1. This Oakland bullpen had the second best bullpen ERA last year in the American League, 2.90. That was the 9th lowest in Oakland history. They've had some dandies. Jose Veras warming up for Houston. Last night, as the count goes to 2-0, Sean Doolittle had a clean inning through 10 pitches. Ryan Cook, same thing, 10 pitches. Grant Balfour, same thing, 10 pitches.
Sensitive theme.
Strike makes it 2-1 now. Every manager would love to see that if he has to go to the pen in the 7th inning, and they were able to protect that lead for the winner, Bartolo Colon. Up and hits him, foul ball to make the count 2-2.
Well, if the score stays as is, I have a feeling Bob Melvin and the gang will call this a perfect 10 series.
Yeah, they will. Well, they would be 5-2 if they win this one. That'd be a 5-game winning streak going to Anaheim. They're in first place alone atop the AL West, and that's more days than they spent alone in first place all year last year until the final day of the season.
Isn't that something? 1 day last year.
Crazy. Bouncer by Blevins. He falls. It goes out to short. Lowry with the throw. And the run comes home to make it 8-3. The RBI for Carlos Corporan, his first of the year. Scoring Carter, and Dominguez comes up next.
Isn't that amazing how easily you can pick up some runs if you just put the ball in play with a man on third base?
It is.
It's those little things that we are going to wear out throughout the course of the season, and that is one of those things. If you get a guy at third base less than 2 outs, he has to score. If not, you're going to drive your manager absolutely bonkers.
Astros are 0 for 6 today with a runner in scoring position, or rather a runner at third base in less than 2 outs.
Dominguez takes a strike. He's 0 for 3. Yeah, the real capper was that 6th inning. They had the bases loaded. Nobody out. Then 2 strikeouts. They did score 2 runs on an error, but that's a gift.
Yes, it was.
1 ball, 1 strike. Tim Hudson and Atlanta knocked off the Cubs 5-1, beating Jeff Samardzija. Dan Uggla hit his 2nd homer. Justin Masterson in Cleveland obliterated Tampa Bay 13-0, beating David Price. 2 homers from Mark Reynolds. 1-2. That Cleveland club got a makeover with the likes of Michael Bourne and Mark Reynolds and others joining the mix there in Cleveland this year.
Swisher
is another one.
Terry Francona is the skipper.
Drew Stubbs is with that club now. Their outfield defense should be outstanding. With him in right, Bourne in center. Struck him out. And in the 8th inning, it's 1 run, 1 hit. We moved to the 9th inning, 8-3, Oakland. Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. It is 8-3, and we look at some changes for the Astros coming out for the top of the ninth inning. Ronnie Cedeno stays in after pinch hitting for Brett Wallace. He is at first base. Nice to have a guy who can play not only the middle infield spots, but also move over and take the big mitt. And here is the closer, Jose Veras, coming in. He'll be pitcher number 4 for the Astros.
Well, imagine Ronnie Cedeno thought in signing with the Astros that he was going to be donning that glove at first base anytime soon.
Not with the options they started with. That's, at first base in spring training. There were plenty of options.
Yes.
Apparently we're going to give Carlos Pena a little more time to relax. Save up for that Seattle series.
Now it'll be the A's coming up here in the ninth inning with Jaso, Cespedes, and Lowry due to bat against Veras. As you saw with his most recent appearance, he now comes in facing a guy who's 1 for 4 in this game. Veras with 1 inning in this series without giving up a run. Delivering ball 1. Evan Scribner is warming up for Oakland again. He was warming up about an hour and a half ago when Brett Anderson had the injury problems with his hand. In tight for a 2-ball, no strike count. Minnesota down Baltimore 4-3, and Chris Davis did not hit a home run. J.J. Hardy did, his second of the year. Johnny Cueto in Cincinnati beat Washington 6-3 over Steven Strasburg. The liner goes foul. 2 balls and a strike. Kurt Suzuki, former Oakland A catcher, hit his first home run. And Aroldis Chapman got save number 2. The Reds are 4-2, and the Nationals are 4-2. She's toasting the ball. The Mets got 2 in the ninth and knocked off Miami 4-3. Smacked on a line to right field. That loops in for a hit. And there's a leadoff single for Jaso. What else is going on in Major League Baseball? Let's see if we can find out.
Yeah, that's one way to get hot, hitting 4 bombs in your first 4 or 5 games and then 17 RBIs.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Chase Utley seems to be healthy too, back from that knee injury. I'm a little shocked to see Jeff Keppinger down there, 1 for 21. That guy's a good professional hitter, man.
Yes, he is.
Good point. He's playing third for the White Sox this year, but he's a contact hitter who doesn't often go into 1 for 21 slumps.
The Upton family is going to have a tough time at Thanksgiving figuring out who's the favorite son, aren't they?
Boy. Yeah, they're going to be in a contest with each other all year long.
It's a decent gene pool.
It is.
Cespedes takes, and there's ball 1, and a game winner from Justin. After BJ hit one earlier in the inning, that is one kind of family celebration after a game like that.
When you hear rumors about BJ maybe being a little lackadaisical, Justin not playing as hard as maybe Kirk Gibson wanted to in Arizona, but I think it's a unique dynamic going to be in Atlanta because, I mean, number one, the competitiveness between siblings is always there. But I think there's going to be that accountability on those guys' part to keep each other in line and keep each other motivated throughout the season. I think that was a great move.
Sure seems to be.
You may not remember, Jeff, there was an outfield in San Francisco decades back. 3 brothers playing, the Alou brothers.
Yeah. All at one time. Fly ball to shallow right. Altuve calling in front of Barnes. And he has that one out. Well, what are the odds on that?
That's just amazing.
That 3 brothers could play in a major league outfield.
And then there was the pitcher-catcher combination with the Dodgers earlier than that. The Sherry brothers, Larry and Norm.
Yeah. Mo wasn't in there?
He had been sent down a week or so earlier.
Okay.
He didn't quite have a skill set, I guess. The Molinas.
3 catchers, brothers in the big leagues.
Didn't they all get 3? Did all 3 of them get World Series rings? Not sure if.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
They might have.
I know Benji and Jose did. Or Benji and Yadier did. I'm not sure if Jose did.
No, I'm not sure about that either.
Mixed up my Molinas.
This ball one. Lowry has a 2-run homer and a single. Well, the Phillies rallied for 4 in the 9th, but they fell short of Kansas City 9-8. So James Shields got his first win as a Royal, beating Cole Hamels, who's 0-2 with an ERA of 10.97. Two balls, no strikes. St. Louis and San Francisco scoreless after 1.5 at AT&T Park in San Francisco. The Giants will be in town when we're there with Oakland. Line drive right field. That's another sharp single. 2 on with 1 out. Usually they are not both in town at the same time, but occasionally you'll find that situation. And fans have been known to jump between games, go out for a Bay Area series and see both leagues.
I think it's good if they could create that every once in a while, especially with the the BART transit system that they have over there. It makes it kind of easy going from ballpark to ballpark.
I bet it does.
They pack them in at AT&T for the Giants. The crowds are tough to come by in Oakland.
Had a situation everybody loves hearing these stories. When I was in Chicago with the White Sox in 2005.
Wait a minute. You were with the White Sox?
Believe it or not, yeah. It kind of flew under the radar when I was there. But we had a situation where the Cubbies had the day game, we had a twilight, and the Bears, I think, had the Sunday night game. Wow. So, I mean, the city of Chicago pretty much shut down that day.
Talking about Dub Bears?
Dub Bears.
So you were with the 05 White Sox. Smash, diving play. Cedeno can't get there. It's a single. And here is a throw to the plate by Barnes. Not in time to prevent that run from scoring. It's 9-3. Chaso scoring on the hit by Moss. Moss gets his first RBI. How'd you guys do in 05 with the White Sox?
I don't know. They made a video about it.
Okay.
And we're just going to really drive the nail home right here.
Go down and get it.
Hey, that's that happy spot for a lefty.
That's Joe Buck, isn't it? Talking about you.
Yep.
That's a pretty good. Do you have a copy of that tape around anywhere?
Maybe 7 or 8.
Okay.
Things get desperate, I've always popped that in for good little motivation.
Troy Aikman have any commentary on that one?
I like the story you told about that kiss you blew to your wife who wasn't up there at that time.
Yeah, she was downstairs in the Astros family room. My brother questioned me after the game. He's like, "Why are you blowing me that kiss?" I was like, "Well, you can have it if you want it," but I initially wanted it to be towards my wife, who that year gave birth to our triplets.
Wife's down there watching the monitor thinking,
well,
oh, okay, who's this to?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, who's in the upper deck?
But she had a good story about being in that family room during that. And, I hadn't been traded too long ago from the team, so we still knew plenty of people on the ball club, and wife knew a lot of the wives that were hanging around, and it was late in the night when that happened, so everybody was in there with their kids falling asleep, and they were chatting away until I hit that ball, and she said it got deadly quiet in there and extremely awkward, but everybody handled it pretty good.
Chris Young out in front of that one. It's 1-2. And when they sent you up to pinch hit, you've told the story, Ozzie Guillen, the manager, initially was not going to call on you as a pinch hitter, right?
No, yeah, the inning before, Tadahito Iguchi was up there with 2 outs, and he had originally said before that inning, if the pitcher's spot comes up, Jeff, you were going to go hit. And, oh, man, the guy's name eludes me, but little Latin middle infielder, he said, you are going to go play second base. We're going to double switch if Iguchi makes the out. And so I had all my armor on. I had my batting gloves, my bat. I was swinging away, having a good old time. Had no idea where my gloves were at the time. And Iguchi proceeds to make the last out in that inning. And I remember standing at the bottom of that tunnel and Ozzie literally pointing at both of us at the same time. And eventually, eeny, meeny, miny, mowed and ended up on me and said, Jeff, go to second base. And, oh, man. So it was, I was at DEFCON 4 ripping off all the gear I had on, grabbed my glove, ran out there, and it just so happened, that I hit third that next inning.
Line to Altuve.
But a lot of credit has to go to Morgan Ensberg, who made a phenomenal double play on Paul Konerko, hit a shot down the third baseline, and Morgan snagged it, made a great feed to Jose Vizcaíno, I think, who was in the game at the time, and turned the double play and took me out of a bunt situation that I was absolutely fearing the entire time I was on deck.
And Seth Smith coming up now. Didn't you see that Onigian, Ozzy's son, was one who said, no, you need to use Jeff Blum here?
Yeah. Well, that gives a lot of credit to how Ozzy was as a manager, that Oni made the call right there in the third game of the World Series. But, yeah, he took a lot of credit for that, and I appreciate him backing me.
Had Ozzy followed that club during the course of the regular season?
Strike one to Smith.
In parts.
There's the honest answer. Yeah.
So what is Ozzy doing now? Do we know?
Wow. We could create all kinds of other issues with that one, too.
Inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I'm sure he's on a goodwill tour somewhere.
Yes.
He was entertaining. He gets a lot of what he deserves because he talks a lot, but for me personally, I had no issue playing for him. He was also my third base coach when I was in Montreal for a year, so I knew what I was getting into.
2 balls and a strike.
Never hurts to win a world championship with a guy leading.
Yeah.
Manager. It could be a tough year, but if you guys win in the end, it was a tough year for a reason.
Yeah, winning is definitely the cure-all.
Next question is going to be interesting if we get to it. How many wins can a manager account for, do you think?
I don't know how many you can account for in a win, but I know that they have an effect on some of the losses that can be created in certain situations. But I mean, if you're going to give them 10 losses, you got to give them at least 10 wins maybe throughout the course of the season.
Okay.
That's a pretty big figure from what most people will say.
What would you say, Ash?
Well, I'd be down probably 5 or under. I have never been around a manager where I thought, well, he's just brilliant. He makes all the right moves. I don't think that players necessarily see it that way down on the field. Some managers are very cautious and they'll go by the book all the time. And if they are and they continue to do that, you always know what's going to happen. So you don't question very often. It's the guys that go with gut reaction that you probably wonder at times.
I bet Tony La Russa would create a pretty valid argument towards the manager.
Daniel, good play, and the flip to Veras to end the top of the 9th. 1 run, 3 hits, 2 men left. Bottom of the 9th coming, 9-3 A's.
In town and leading the Astros 9-3. Now, the minor league teams got underway this week, and a guy the Astros like to keep an eye on is their last year's #1 overall draft pick, Carlos Correa. And wow, he's off to a great start in low A Quad Cities. Check this out, 6 for 15, batting .400 to start the year. A couple of doubles, a home run, 8 RBI. How about that start for the prospect, guys?
Really noteworthy, Julia. And in fact, the Astros were not sure they wanted to jump him up to Quad Cities to open the season. They thought maybe they might keep him in Florida for a little while, but that is looking like an excellent decision.
Quick thought for me, when I look at that photo, he looks like kind of a smallish guy, but he is anything but. He is a big Alex Rodriguez as a youngster kind of a guy, and just looks like, you look at him and you think, wow, love to get my hands on this guy as a player.
He keeps doing that, he's going to jump a couple more levels and really force their hand a little bit, you know? Yeah.
Pinch hitter now for Brandon Barnes, who was 1 for 3. Rick Ankiel against Evan Scribner, who has been warming up most of the day now, it seems. There is strike 1. Working 3 1/3 innings in 2 games, allowing 3 hits, walking 1, fanning 2. This is the first year Scribner's been on a major league roster to open the season. No balls, 2 strikes. Well, Ankiel hit that big 3-run pinch homer in the opener here in his first plate appearance as an Astro. They're playing him to pull on the infield, and he's down on strikes. It's a tough strikeout start for Rick. That's his 10th K in 12 at bats.
Now, there's something about Carlos. You know, young guys usually have a little bit of an attitude to them a little bit, but it looked like Carlos got played with a little bit here in the early goings when they had made the trip to Minute Maid for a spring training game, and he took it in stride. And that's what you want to see from these young guys. He recognizes that he's the low man on the totem pole, so to speak, and took the ribbing pretty good.
Doesn't get a locker. He just gets that portion of a locker and a bucket out in the middle of the room.
Carlos Pena is the pinch hitter now for Gonzalez. Marwin 0 for 2 with a walk. And that's ball 1 upstairs for Carlos Pena. 167, looking for his first RBI. He is 1 for 7 in this series. Started last night at first and went 1 for 4. And he had started every game before today. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, it's the 5th game where the Astros have struck out in double digits, and it is 1 strikeout out away from a third 15 strikeout game.
Young back at left center. 2 outs. What do you recommend to cure the strikeout itis?
You know, if you've been around the game, I think the honest answer, and some guys will try to come up with all these great logical notions. I don't know that there is an answer. I think there are times when the true honest answer down in the dugout is, I don't know. I don't get it right now. You hope it's just a bad streak and that things will turn around. But when you start the season struggling this way, you start to wonder, is this really the way it's going to go all year?
Yeah, you can spend all your time looking for it, but I think in that situation, when you're in that deep of a hole, it'll find you before you find it as far as breaking out.
Get some broken bat thumbers and little bleeders here and there, and usually that's when things will break out.
Strike to Altuve, 0-2 as he tries to extend his hitting streak to the first 6 games of the season. He's 0 for 3 with a walk and now 0-2 in the count.
Look at the Blue Jays. They spent mega millions over the offseason to bring in some big-time players, and they're off to a 2-4 start.
And the hole backhanded. Lowry, quick throw, and it's dug out by Moss at first to end this ball game. An Oakland series sweep in Houston. The A's have won 5 in a row. The Astros have now lost 5 in a row. Lowry had a big weekend. So did Crisp. And the A's as a team really enjoyed their first visit to Houston in several years. Final score, A's 9, Astros 3.